on Mary Testweed Canal Field at Wildwood Baseball Park, where tonight Sheboygan South hosts Sheboygan North in the final game of the 2006 Fox River Valley baseball season. Hello, everybody. My name is Mike Martin. Joining me is Greg Schwartz. Schwarty, former South athlete, played for the Legion team here in Sheboygan, and your son plays for South.
Right. So I won't show any bias, but I'm kind of for South. Although I did coach 10 of these North players and traveling leagues one time or another, and 4 South players, so I'm pretty familiar with all of them.
Morning's paper, they outlined the implications of this game. There was a possibility of having a 4-way tie. That's not going to be the case tonight, however.
Well, you gave me all the standings so we could figure this out, but Green Bay and Notre Dame beat Manitowoc on a throwing error 2-1 just about a half hour ago. So the best anybody can do is South can win, and we tie for first yet. So obviously the rivalry is the bigger thing right now anyhow for both teams.
Now, coming into tonight's game, South is starting Tony Hoytink, and he's had a good run over the last few weeks.
The last 2-3 starts, he's been getting his fastball over so he can set up his breaking balls, where early in the year he wasn't. Now, South is pretty deep with pitching, so sometimes they didn't get the reps that they might have gotten otherwise. So I think now they have their innings under their belt, so it's starting to show.
Paper had mentioned that in North winning ball games they had very few errors, and the losses they had a lot of errors. You mentioned something about having a strikeout pitcher, and Lucas Wilson might be that.
Well, you figure Lucas is going to strike out, let's say, anywhere a dozen to 15, so they only put the ball in play 8 to 6 times. So there aren't going to be many errors. Where if you strike out only 6 or 7, now the ball is put in play 14, 15 times, guess what? More chance for errors, and that's what's happening.
Who can we look for on South other than your son for some hitting prowess? Because they've got a pretty good lineup up and down.
John Valdez is probably the main power source. Ben Hendricks gets on base a lot and seems to come up with a clutch hit. He's very fast. You'll be surprised the speed he shows. And like you said, up and down the lineup, we have the potential to get a base hit here and there.
North, on the other hand, has a couple of standout hitters, but when you get down to the bottom part, they don't shine very much.
No, they're going to need some help from down there. You know, you have, I think Peter Rushke's starting to hit now. Ben Trilling is back healthy. And Lucas Wilson himself and Ryan Schmitz. You got those 4 guys, and if South gets past those, that could make for a long night for North.
Okay, we're going to step out. When we come back, we'll have the starting lineups and the opening pitch for this evening's ball game.
Sheboygan A's baseball is baseball the way it was meant to be played. A's baseball features hard-hitting action, a family atmosphere, and fan-friendly excitement. The 2006 season is about to begin, and you can be part of every game by becoming a member of the Sheboygan Athletic Club. As an Athletic Club member, you will be part of one of the finest amateur baseball programs in the Midwest. Receive free admission for all 2006 A's home games, are entitled to reduced prices at the concession stand, and will develop friendships that will last a lifetime. To learn more, contact the Sheboygan Athletic Club at 458-4377 or log on to sheboyganbaseball.org.
Across America, Service Learning is helping students improve their grades and their communities by connecting the classroom with community service. Working together, students solve real problems, build new skills, and apply their knowledge in a whole new way. Inside the classroom and out, Service Learning opens new doors and brings learning to life. Get your school involved. Visit learnandserve.gov to find out how.
Go anywhere. Do anything. The power is yours. Cordless power. But be cool with your cordless power. If you've got old rechargeable batteries hanging around, take them in to be recycled. It's easy, and it's good for the environment. Check us out online or give us a call at 1-800-8-BATTERY to learn more.
Diabetes is a killer. After I was diagnosed, I didn't feel sick, so I didn't listen to my doctor. Then it struck. I had a heart attack, then a stroke, and I was only 49.
Most people with diabetes also have high blood pressure and cholesterol, which can cause severe heart damage. In fact, 2 out of 3 people with diabetes die from heart disease or stroke.
Don't let diabetes destroy your life.
Call for your free diabetes survival guide. Choose to live.
As parents, we do whatever is necessary to ensure the health of our children. Sadly, most parents don't realize that their child's first eye exam with an eye doctor should be between the age of 6 and 12 months. I urge you to take your baby to an optometrist for a comprehensive eye assessment. It can literally change your child's vision of the future.
Infancy optometrists offer a no-charge eye assessment for infants 12 months old or younger. Call today to find an optometrist near you.
Congratulations on the promotion.
I hope you're saving the extra money.
You gotta put it in stocks.
If you want to get ahead.
No, bonds.
And CDs.
Way to go. Better balance.
You know, you
Stick it under the mattress.
Getting plenty of advice, but not enough facts? Visit saveandinvest.org. No confusing advice, no sales pitch. Just unbiased information and tools to help you manage your money with confidence. Saveandinvest.org.
We're back.
Back at the ballpark, let's go through the starting lineup for Sheboygan North. Starting and leading off in left field is Alex Binder. Batting second at third base is Ryan Schmitz. Batting third and pitching is Lucas Wilsing. Batting fourth is Peter Reschke. Pete over at first base. Ben Trilling is catching. He's batting fifth. Trilling has been having a real fine year at the plate, hitting .392 so far. Noel Depes is a DH, batting sixth for Ryan Lienhardt. Batting seventh is Brad Schmitz out in center field. Mitchell Gardner is at shortstop. And batting ninth is Nathan Hummich out in right field. For Sheboygan South, let's set the defense for them. Pitching is Tony Hoytink, and catching is Adam Math. Over at first base is Ben Hendricks. Over at second is Taylor Schwartz. You know him, right, Greg?
Yeah, I've been working with him a few years.
Frank Raff is over at third, and Tony Gallhart is at shortstop. Out in left field is Brent Halverson. In center field is John Valdez. We mentioned John in the opening. He's quite a hitter. And playing out in right field is Dominic Gonzalez. That's it. No DH for Sheboygan South in their lineup. And that pretty much sets us up. Willie Matson is a pitching coach for Craig Clace, and he does a pretty nice job with the pitchers.
Calls all the pitches. I'm not sure if Chris Wright does and his staff does or not, but South, for a while they were going to let Jordan Grinke call his own game, but that didn't last long. So all the pitches are called by Will.
I don't believe South North does that. They just let the catcher call it, and I believe that's pretty much how they do it.
I'll say one thing about South tonight. We've had a revolving door in left field, and tonight we have
Brent Halverson.
Brent's out there, and he's been getting on base. I don't know what his on-base percentage is, but batting average-wise, not that high, but he does put the ball in play, and he walks quite a bit, but we've had some trouble running routes out in the outfield. You know, fly balls that could be caught aren't. That could be a factor tonight. Dominic Gonzalez has come on well as a senior. He didn't play much outfield the last 2 years, and here he is playing a significant role.
One of the things you mentioned when we were down on the field, Greg, was Anthony was getting his fastball over, which set up his curveball, and I thought the first go-around, Lucas really had trouble spotting his curveball. And
now, you know this better than I do. I had to go to a music concert that night, but I was getting a phone call during the concert, and they were telling me for all the pitchers that the ump was kind of squeezing him that night. He was a hitter's umpire. I don't know if that had anything to do with it. Did you notice that or not?
Not at that time. I'll tell you, you'll be able to notice it really good up here.
Okay.
Hopefully we don't fall
What are
into
umpires? Do you know them, Marty?
I don't know. Maybe we can, hopefully we can find out before too long and let our fans know. They're not familiar guys. I don't know if that's good or bad. But leading off the ball game for North is Alex Binder. Binder hitting .213. Not much you can say about that, Greg.
He's got good speed. I know he dabbled at second base for a while last year. I think he's back in the outfield now, and I think that's probably where he's going to end up. And a lot of the things we'll talk about this year probably have to do with Legion baseball, too, because a lot of these guys that go on are true baseball players. That's where they play during the summer, as you know.
That pitch rides in low. It's 2-0 to Alex. Just in the ballpark is Charlie Reschke. Of course, you were talking to Charlie Sr. before we came up here.
Charlie is still the best baseball player I've seen come out of Sheboygan, him and Grant Berkovitz, but Charlie had that swing. You saw it. I mean, it just jumped off his bat.
Breaking pitch by Hoytink is in for a strike. That makes the count 2 balls and 1 strike.
1 and 2.
1 ball and 2 strikes.
Now, this is the first year they've moved this game to 7 o'clock. Seems to be a success, huh?
Very much so. Binder lines a shot to left.
Breaking ball. Slow breaking ball at that.
Well, North doesn't like to bunt a lot. They had a situation in that Last game that we did, I thought Chris could have bunted with the lower part of the order and didn't. But if Binder's got good speed, it wouldn't surprise me to see him go.
Do you know, it seems to be every high school coach you talk to, Marty, talks about playing small ball, and when it comes to it, they don't do it very often anyhow. Because it's difficult to defense. I mean, they just make mistakes, you know.
Well, I think in the stretch, Binder with a nice lead over at first.
Well, Ryan is a good hit and run man. His strong suit is hitting the ball the opposite way, so they like to do a lot of hit and running with him.
Frank Raff is even at third. He was up on the grass, I thought, the first pitch, but now that Schmitty didn't square around, he's moved back.
I'm not sure if the infielders get the signs from the catcher or not, but the base hit that Binder had was on a breaking ball, so maybe he did see it and hugged the line a little bit more.
Binder stretching out his lead a little bit.
I would think he'd go sometime in this sequence.
That pitch in there for a strike evens the count at 1-1. There's no outs. We're in the top of the first. North is a visiting team. They lost the first go-around 4-0. Whiting with a pretty deceptive move that time. Of the times I've seen him pitch, Greg, I don't think he's got a real superior move to first for a lefty anymore.
No, he's never shown it. You know, we used to have, well, Dominic Gonzalez, and think about this, you were a left-hander. They called him for a balk once, and he got kind of afraid to make a good move.
Right, yeah.
And you can't be, because you're going to make some balks, but you're going to pick guys off with it, too.
I can relate to not having a good move as a left-hander.
Well, you let a lot of guys on base, so you could have used one.
Thanks for the support, buddy. Yeah, I heard the little Legion reunion is going golfing this year.
I just got an envelope today. I didn't open it. Was that what it said?
I don't think I got it yet.
Maybe it was just a letter from Ron Nias, but it was something about, I know, it's coming close again. He's got a pretty good lead.
He does. Not going. Schmitty hammers one out to deep left. Halverson looking to have a beat on. He can't make the play. It drops in. Near the wall. A run's going to score. Binder showing good speed. Schmitz pulls
hit the ball
up.
Well, I think Valdez would have had to play on it if he'd have called him off and gone to the ball. High school baseball, the outfielders have a hard time running routes. They just do.
You're absolutely right. Well, North jumps out on top. 1-0.
2 hits. Both hit well.
Lucas Wilson stepping in. Dave Lubach up in the booth letting us know that Notre Dame won. Best South can do is, of course, hope for a tie. Lucas steps in hitting .365. Thing about Lucas is he'll drive the ball. He has 5 doubles, a triple, and a homer. That's 7 extra base hits and 66 at-bats. That's pretty good.
4-year varsity player, and even when he's not pitching, he's usually batting third in the lineup someplace, either in right field or first base.
Got to keep him in the lineup.
I understand that, was it Upper Iowa is interested? That's where he may be going to school next year.
I saw Kevin Post. I don't know if you remember Kevin. He played for the A's. And
he coached them, didn't he?
Coaches down in Upper Iowa.
Okay.
His dad, Dale, and I actually went to Holy Name for like a year or two, and he's coaching out at Kiel now.
Okay.
He was at the game also, obviously visiting with his son.
Right.
So they were looking at players from Sheboygan that night. I think it was that other North-South game, as a matter of fact.
Well, yeah, it was, as a matter. You're right, because UWM was also here looking.
No outs. North has a runner on second. Pitch to Wilson is outside. Evens count at 1-1.
You'd obviously like to pull the ball someplace at least if he makes an out to get a productive one.
Move that runner over to third. Ryan Schmitz taking a conservative lead at second.
A lot of breaking balls early in the ball game.
One thing South has is a real fine catcher. Adam Math does a great job behind there.
He really does. He's very mobile. We don't throw a lot of runners out, but that's not always attributed to the catcher. That's not his doings, but he does a great job defensively. He's a gamer. Looks like they want to throw him off speed stuff.
That makes the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. We're in the top of the first. North has a run in and a runner on second. A good start for the Northsiders. South, of course, needs a win to tie for the Fox River Valley Championship.
Above the hands, you don't want to chase. It looks good, it isn't. That was a disappointing out for Lucas. He wanted to move that runner to third, as we said.
As a pitcher, you always want to help your own cause, and Anthony Hoytink with a good go-around with Wilsing that time.
All breaking balls, and then he climbed the ladder on a fastball. There's Peter. He used to play for us when we had a traveling team when he was about 9 or 10, and he had number 3.
Was that Cousins
right
group?
And like I said, there were 10 players from.
Drive to deep center field. Valdez has a beat on it. He makes the catch. Schmitz tags up and goes to third. That ball was hammered.
Yeah, it was hit well. Valdez was under it. That's a tough sun out there in center and right side.
Yeah, especially now.
Another half hour maybe, huh?
Ben Trilling steps in, Shorty, and he's hitting .392.
I've known Ben since he was about 8. His dad and I work with him a lot, and he has a real nice quick swing to the ball. You watch, he'll have his head down always. Breaking balls don't bother him, whereas most high school kids don't want much to do with a breaking ball. He had some shoulder trouble. He missed a couple ball games.
Yeah, I think he dislocated it, and it meant moving the team around a little bit in terms of positions. Reschke moved from first back to catcher, and he actually did a pretty good job back there.
Well, they're 3 deep. Noel Deppy's a sophomore, can catch also. So, and even Mitchell Gardner, if you need a guy to play all over, Mitchell can do that as well.
First pitch was fouled off for strike 1. Trilling nails
over his head. That's trouble.
That ball's back near the wall.
Out of here.
Out of here. Long drive to left. Just cleared the fence for a 2-run home run for Ben Trilling, his first of the year.
We said he doesn't mind a breaking ball, and that was a slow breaking ball, and he jumped on it. He knew what to do.
See if we can get a replay of that one, Scott. Hopefully we got the replay machine fired up tonight.
Little Cadillacing there as he comes around third.
I think that's a long way to run it all at once. I'm not used to that. First home run of the year. That's only the, the second home run of the season for North. Wilsing has the other one. Stepping in is Noel Deppy, the DH, and Shorty, you just mentioned about him. I had a couple of JV games last year, and he really impressed. There's a drive, deep left.
Yeah, he's a sound player. He's been playing ball since he's a kid. I had him for a couple of years when I did the Diamonds team. And he's got a quick bat. It can get a little long, and it's hard as a sophomore. Let's face it, it's hard to be a real impact player yet.
He was starting on the JV team as a freshman, and now he's up on the varsity starting as a sophomore. And I believe Mitchell Gardner is also a sophomore starting.
Right.
So
those two have played together for forever, basically. Little conference on the mound. We've only seen one good fastball so far. That's when he went upstairs and struck Lucas Wilson out. Everything he's been hurt on has been slow breaking balls.
Well, we saw this last week when North lost to Green Bay Southwest. They scored 3 in the first, and over the next 6 innings got 1 hit. Didn't score any runs.
Well, you mentioned it too before the game when you said the bottom of the order doesn't do a lot sometimes. And that's going to hook foul, but...
Drive down the line is into the bullpen area.
No, it might be just me, but in cool weather, I always like to bring the hard stuff, and we haven't done that all spring. I'm not sure. I'm not a pitching coach, but you know, when it's 50-some degrees out, you don't want the ball in your hands when it's hard.
Hurt him.
That one's hit well.
Nails one deep to left. Halverson back, out of here. Wow, 2 home runs in the inning. Noel Deppes.
That one actually was kind of a no-doubter. He hit that one well.
Deppes came into the game hitting .261, hits his first home run of the year, and North is up 4-0. It's a shocker, Greg.
Yes, that was hit well. Now, all 4 hits were hit well. We had a deep fly out.
Binder's single was a solid rip.
Right. Yeah, this is going to be a big mountain for him to climb here, 4 down.
Anthony Hoytink came into tonight's game with a 3-2 record. His ERA was 3.63. That jumped a little bit. Has 23 strikeouts in 27 innings. Now he has 24 strikeouts.
He brings it in about, I'd say, the upper 70s, 77, somewhere there.
Well, the key, like you mentioned before, is his control. You know, if he can spot his fastball a little bit and get his curve in, he's going to be very effective. Ball one.
A little bit inside.
Hard grounder to Rapp.
Nice play, Frank's got time.
Good throw over to first. And that ends the inning for North, but not before they come up with 1, 2, 3, 4 runs on 4 hits. At the end of a half inning of play, North 4, South coming to bat.
Does peace really have a chance within our lifetime? At Rotary, we believe it does. We've created programs at universities around the world dedicated solely to teaching peace to a new generation. There's a new symbol for peace. Rotary.
When I need you, I just close my eyes and I'm with you. And all that I so wanna give you, it's only a
You don't have to be a hero to be a hero. When you adopt a child from foster care, just being there makes all the difference.
Mitchell Gardner hit that, didn't he? Oh, it was Brad? Okay.
In action earlier this afternoon, Sheboygan South JVs run-ruled Sheboygan North 10-0. And then over on, we didn't hear about South, but the North girls in regional action defeated Fond du Lac by the run rule, so they're moving on in tournament action. And as long as we're talking tournament, Greg, let's talk a little bit about the seeding and everything for the regionals and sectionals for Sheboygan's teams. On Tuesday, May 30th, Hartford is going to come to Sheboygan to play Sheboygan South. Hartford is the 5th seed, South the 4th seed. If South wins that game, they'll play North again. That game would be on Friday, June 2nd.
I understand Hartford's about a 500 team. I know their pitcher was a heck of a quarterback. We faced him the opening game last year of the season, and he had an arm. I don't know what kind of pitcher he is, but I know he is one, so I'm sure he'll be their ace.
South, we just got this from Dave Lubach. South hammered.
Okay.
Gosh, 17-3. So a lot of good news going on so far tonight, especially for the South side.
With the back to the boys, their freshman baseball team, I guess North run-ruled South. I don't know a score, but that's what I had heard. So that completes all.
Freshman one, too?
The North boys won, freshman.
Okay, one hopper back to Lucas and tosses over to first for the out. Taylor Schwartz up. Talk a little bit about your son, Schwartz, because he's a heck of a player.
He's naturally a right-handed hitter, but when he was 3, I made him bat left-hand only for about a year because I knew he could do the right-handed stuff, so he's been switch hitting ever since. And even when we go to camps and things, the coaches and so forth don't know which his natural way is, so I guess that would be a true indication he's a real switch hitter, you know.
Right, yeah. I never, I batted both ways, but I never called it switch hitting because that implies you're hitting the ball.
Well, fast pitch tennis ball and wiffle ball in the neighborhood was about it, you know.
Right.
That was a hard slider, a little bit inside.
Wilsing on the mound, Ben Trilling behind the plate.
Ben Trilling's dad just walked by with a little beam on his face there.
Yeah, he's pretty happy. He gave you a call last night when that Yankee pitcher gave up the no-ball 2-strike home run for the second time.
Yeah, the Yankees are struggling a bit. We don't want to talk about them tonight. But Joe he briefs me on what North's doing all the time.
There's a drive to left.
Up. Going to be foul, but I think it's in play. No, trapped it.
Sliding try by the left fielder, Binder, and it drops out of play.
I think it's 1-2. 2-2.
2-2 is the count.
Now Lucas brings it about 84, sometimes maybe 85. I know he's fallen in love with his breaking ball the last couple of years. I think if you throw that four-seamer sometimes it'd be, well, of course he gets his strikeouts anyhow. But
right. Hey, you'd like to see kids when they're young like this, lean on the fastball a little more. If nothing else, just to give their arm a little bit of a rest.
It broke right down the middle of the plate. Got to protect on that.
Big breaking ball. Gets Taylor Schwartz. Called strike 3, and that brings up Ben Hendricks. Hendricks hitting .357 on the year. Has 15 hits and 42 trips, 3 doubles and a triple. 10 RBIs on the year, second on the team in that department.
I was talking to you earlier about the wheels he has.
Bouncing ball.
They'll never get him on that. He is going to Stevens Point for football. Going to play as a freshman. Him and John Valdez are going together.
Valdez is, he really impresses me as a hitter. John does.
He's starting to come around the breaking ball. Took a couple years, but obviously with his strength. I think he's going to commit to Legion ball now. There was always, how these rumors always start, who's going to play and who isn't. I think he might be the last guy to be in the fold.
Now, Paul Van Lanen would be real interested in that information.
Took a fastball in the dirt, ball 1.
Valdez hitting .318. He has 2 home runs in the season. That doesn't surprise me.
No, he had a couple last year, I know, in the Legion season also. Not going to catch up to that.
Yeah, a little high fastball out of the zone, but he swung at it. That makes the count 1 ball and 1 strike. There's 2 outs. Hendricks on at first, reached on an error.
Lucas have much of a move, Marty?
Yeah, he's got a little one. Drive, foul. Out on New Jersey Avenue, I believe.
Fans are up looking for some car action. I think everybody's clear.
Lucas wasn't very happy with me last year in the Legion year. I called a balk on him.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got a deceptive move in that, he doesn't move his front foot near first base very much. And that's what I called it on. I didn't think he, made a step towards first.
Fastball a little bit outside.
That evens the count at 2-2 now. North on top, 4-0 on the strength of 2 home runs.
4 hits in the first inning. I don't know if anybody's throwing. I don't think so.
Curveball.
Struck him out.
Trilling hangs on. Might have been a foul tick, but doesn't matter. That's the 3rd out of the inning. And after 1 complete, North on top, 4-0.
Diversification. It's a pretty big word, but easy to understand, especially when it comes to structuring your investment portfolio. Having diversity in your investments is always a good idea. It not only makes your overall portfolio more balanced, it can provide you with a little peace of mind by helping you minimize your risks. Simply put, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Learn more about the importance of diversifying your portfolio and choose to save.
In times of danger and disaster, in times of peace and times of war, in times of joy and times of pain, in every corner of the world and right here at home, for their families, for their futures, for the incredible sacrifice they make for all of us, so that someday they can return to the people they love and the things they hold in their hearts. For all of this, it's this simple. We need them, they need us, and we need you. The USO, until everyone comes home.
Mitchell Gardner stepping in. Mitchell, sophomore, starting on the varsity, hitting .250. That's not too bad, Coach.
No, it's hard. Like I say, it's hard to make an impact. He's a gamer. He plays well all over. He's made some errors, but as a sophomore, the game is a little bit faster than you used to sometimes.
At times, he's overmatched, but for the most part, he does all right out there.
I would throw hard stuff here, to be truthful. I would, with all the kids.
The one thing about Mitchell, when you see him out there, he looks like a ball player.
Yeah. Oh, he's got some bloodlines there.
Yep. Tom Gardner,
Hall of Famer with the Sheboygan A's.
Correct.
He's got some. I know when we were in Oshkosh with the state team years ago, and we'd look in the Oshkosh Titans book, and his name is in there for certain records and so forth.
Yeah, he's a heck of a player.
kind of fool on it.
Yeah, a little pop-up. Anthony showing good quickness, getting back on that and making the catch.
The big leagues, there was a double on that the other night. Did you see that?
Yeah. Nobody wanted to take it. That's amazing what happened, even in the major leagues.
You watch baseball long enough, you see all those things that sometimes they look just as bad as the little kids do.
Right. That brings up the number 9 hitter, Nathan Hummich. Now, here's a guy that is really fast.
Well, they started the season off, he was bunting a lot, and I don't know if the word got around or not. But
he was batting leadoff, too.
Yeah.
Frank Raff edging in at third.
I don't know if he's been taught the drag bunt, but that would be an ideal thing for her to do. Here's a curveball on the outside corner. Still staying with a lot of breaking balls.
Nathan's dad, Rich, is a heck of a ball player. Played mostly softball, I believe.
I think he was about a year or two younger than us. He was a running back at Kohler years ago.
He helped in the construction over at Jefferson. Talked to him every day. He's on to another job now for the last few weeks. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Oh, how much?
Breaking ball, got him fanning.
Yeah, swung at a bad pitch. Strike 3.
Now, if you're going to throw a breaking ball, that's the place to throw it.
Well, so far a good inning for Anthony after he struggled in the first. He got the first 2 hitters. The 8th and 9th hitter now are up to the top of the order, Alex Binder. Should have brought my calculator. We could figure out Binder's batting average. Got 11 hits and 48 trips.
11 for 48, did you say?
Just under 250.
Well, 11 for 44 would be 250, so it's probably about 220-ish.
He started the night hitting 213. We're pretty quick that way.
Well, you play 20 games, non-conference and conference. So if you're an everyday player, not counting walks, you're going to bat, 60 sometimes, I suppose?
You would think, somewhere close to that.
Yeah, maybe 70-ish. And then again, we talk about Legion Ball, but there's another 100 summit bat in the summer for you because they play 35 games in about a 6-week period.
That last pitch was a strike by Anthony Hoytink, and that makes the count 2 balls and 1 strike.
Again, I'd stay hard here.
Line drive out the center field.
That's going to drop.
Valdez has to play it on a hop.
Kind of flail, but top of the bat, but found a gap. I'd say here's a good time to run him.
My prediction, Greg, is first pitch he's going.
Okay.
Now, Chris told me once what his signs are, but obviously I forgot.
In confidence, I hope, right?
Don't call me at home to find out what they are. Binder, actually a more conservative lead than he had his first time up.
Maybe he wanted to draw 1 throw. There's Ryan Schmitz, who had a well-hit double, first time up.
Yeah, double
RBI.
Yeah.
Scored a run later on.
Well, Coach Wright went through a series of signs over in the third base coaching box. Now, it might be a sign that he's not in the box. I mean, that might be the steal sign.
Well, it'd be hard to get that depth perception, I think, if you're maybe...
That short and on first base. Will Chamberlain might notice that. Or Yao Ming. I guess that's the name of the day.
Yeah.
Whoa. Hoyting got Binder leaning just a little bit. You get a good shot of Alex, number 4, and Ben Hendricks, the first baseman, and Anthony Hoytink. Another
there he
good
goes.
Picked him off. Good throw. And Binder out at first base.
You were right about the first pitch, except he never got one.
He went sooner than that. Well, at the end of an inning and a half, it's still North 4, South nothing.
Sheboygan A's baseball is baseball the way it was meant to be played, and you can be part of the action at every A's home game. For children and adults, each game features on-field games, great food and drink, exciting baseball action, and the opportunity to meet new friends. This can all be yours when you become a working member of the Sheboygan Athletic Club. The family membership fee of only $25 entitles you to free admission to all 2006 A's home games, reduced prices at the concession stand, and you will be part of the A's rich tradition of winning baseball. To learn more, contact the Sheboygan Athletic Club at 458-6377 or log on to sheboyganbaseball.org.
Okay.
Here we are back at the ballpark. Fritz Zink giving us that shot. Steve Reiner giving us that shot. Scott Mieloff spinning the dials in the truck. I'm Mike Martin. My partner is Greg Schwartz. Shorty, great having you up here. You're a good partner.
It's a lot of fun. We played the ball together. How many? I don't even want to know how many years ago that was.
Too long. Basically, you want to know how long? It's been too long.
But I've been active in youth baseball now for the last 15 years, so I'm closer to it now, I think, than I was in a long time.
You get a shot at Tim Moyer, the first base coach for the Red Wings, and stepping in is Anthony Hoytink. Now, Anthony's a Jefferson boy.
Did you explain to your audience that you teach there, so you're a little biased or not?
Well, I hope they know that by now.
Did you tell them all in school today that they're to watch tonight?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
But I probably should have. I can tell them we'll keep track of TV8 for the replays. A good breaking ball there by Lucas. That makes the count no balls and 2 strikes
So
on
you
Hoytink.
can go breaking ball away or a fastball up, I suppose, or you can back him off the plate. He's going away. He didn't get the pitch where he wanted, and Tony went down nice and got it.
That was a shot. I'll tell you, Anthony's a strong kid. He's going to be a heck of a football player.
Well, you know his
again
nickname
next
is
year.
Squanto.
I heard that.
We have some football coaches in the booth. They would know how much he squats, but it's an unbelievable amount.
Chris Hine up here offering some assistance to Mike Rank.
Chris, you'd know. What does he squat? 550 pounds. Okay, not too shabby.
550.
Again, hence the name Squanto.
Stepping in is Tony Gallhart. Where's that sheet here? Been hogging that thing. Didn't you give me
Here
one?
it is. I gave you one. He's hitting 289.
Okay. Here's mine, right at the bottom of the pile.
Coach Glaze gave us 2 because he knew you'd have some problems. So.
Well, you don't share. That's the problem. Hoytink taking a conservative lead on actually, they got a pinch runner in there for him.
Conserve his energy. It looks like
number 14 is John
Cabai. Just brought up from the JV team.
Courtesy running.
Used to be an outfielder when I had him in youth leagues, but I think he's played some infield now.
John taking a little bit of a lead. Gallard looking to bunt.
Tony's got quite a few. I think he's got 3 or 4 bunt base hits this year. Now, he doesn't drag it, but he'll push it on the third base line. He's got decent speed. He's beat a couple out, as I said. Ryan Schmitz is now in on the grass.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that. Take a look at where the shortstop is positioned.
I think he's too close to the bag myself. You're not going to pull unless they see a breaking ball.
Schmitz back, has a play, but can't quite catch up to it. Coach Richards and I in that Southwest game mentioned just about the entire game. Mitchell was shaded towards the center, and there were at least 3 balls that were hit to normal shortstop that went through for base hits.
You know, it's funny you mention that. Sometimes it depends upon where you're sitting in the stands, but I've often thought of why certain players are where they are. I don't think you get a good vantage point when you're in the dugout either. So the coaches don't often see
that either, but you can tell.
Right.
I don't know if we can get a look at that, Fritz. Scott, you give us that shot. You can see Mitchell. You see him. He's right up the middle, near second base, not nearly in the normal shortstop position. There you see him. Bouncing ball, foul.
Curveball in on his hands.
That makes the count no balls and 2 strikes. Gallhart at bat. John Cabai, pinch courtesy running, actually, for Tony Hoytink. Beautiful night for a game.
Well, we just talked about off the air that they moved these games, these north-south games, to 7 o'clock for basically so fans could come. And I was worried about the weather, but it's couldn't be any nicer. Breaking ball over the middle of the plate. Second time you got somebody called.
That's 3rd strikeout now for Wilsing. And that brings up the number 7 hitter, Frank Raff. And Frank's a guy that's really developed from last year to this year.
He's fielding-wise, he's played a really good third base, and he just fundamentally does things right defensively. He's hitting .375 right now, 9 in conference, 9 for 24. Isn't going to hit it a long ways, but he does make contact. He's been having a good year.
Frank hammers it out to center field, but Brad Schmitz is right there and makes the catch. Now there's 2 outs. That's going to bring up Dominic Gonzalez. Dominic did a lot of pitching last year. He's 3-1 on the season on the mound, but only chucked 18 1/3 innings.
Well, if you look at the last column, 19 walks. When he gets the ball over, he's been tough to hit, as his ERA would indicate, but there's some games where he couldn't get out early innings because of control problems. He's been on the varsity since a sophomore. Legion, same thing.
Big
Joined
kid.
the Air Force in August. Just a little sidelight there.
Hey, that's why you're up here. You offer some of those little tidbits that nobody else knows about.
And actually, he had some knee surgery last year. I think he could have helped the South basketball team had he been 100%.
First pitch is a strike.
Does have a long swing, and that we worked on even as a kid. But he's as a senior, sometimes you're strong enough that you can get by with that, as he's hitting pretty well this year.
But when you run up against a kid that's a little faster, it shows up as not a good thing having that long swing. Kabai still at first. Wilsing trying to keep him close. Now we get time.
Freezing him, but I don't think he's going anyplace.
Now with 2 outs and down by 4, you wouldn't think so.
You know, we've had opportunities to go to some of these pitching combines and some of these things, and you'd be surprised there are very few kids. Well, he is going, Coach, and nobody wanted to cover the bag.
Well, throw is off the mark a little bit, and Kabai with a stolen base.
Well, it surprised us, and nobody covered it. Surprised North also, I think.
Yeah. Dominic has a chance to drive in a run after 2 outs.
2 strikes, so now he's going to go after the hitter. Ben Trilling was looking down there after he threw it as if to say, who's covering the bag here? Right-handed batter, I would think that's a second baseman. But
You'd think, although I don't think it would have mattered on that stolen base because the throw is off the mark and Kabai surprised everybody.
There's that high fast. About the only fastball he's been throwing is upstairs, and we haven't touched that.
Well, and that ends the inning. At the end of 2 complete. North 4, South looking to get one on the board.
Love is the answer to all questions. Hope is the breath that keeps my spirit alive. Smiles are the world's most plentiful resource. Easter Seals changes the lives of people living with disabilities. Learn how at easterseals.com. Be an angel of change.
He's got 2 saves, nothing's down. Here we are.
For North in the top of the 3rd, it'll be Schmitz, Wilsing, and Reschke, the meat of the order, just about 2, 3, 4. And in the last half inning, Schmitz doubled in a run. Wilsing and Reschke made out, so we're going to see if they can have a little more success against Hoytink. But I thought in that first North-South game, which was very tight till late, it was the errors that really hurt North, and we had mentioned that in the opening that Chris had mentioned you have a whole ton of errors in their losses and not nearly as many in the wins.
Right. But that's youth baseball, but I think South has put the ball in play for an out once. Or how many strikeouts does Lucas have? 4
1,
or
2,
5?
3, 4, so they've only
Grounded
made
to the mound and
a fly to center. And the other one they did hit was an error.
Okay.
So they want to hit the ball a little more.
Yeah. There's a breaking ball over for a strike.
Now Schmitz steps in. He's hitting that's the wrong Schmitz. Ryan Schmitz hitting .333. He's had a lot of baseball background. His dad's worked hard with him over the years.
Yeah, we picked him up in the last couple of years in the youth league, and then they played together now for all summers, all the time. His dad's into baseball. And you umpire with him, perhaps. He does some of the
We have over the years. I don't think he worked any games last year, unless it was an emergency kind of thing out in Cleveland when the Wildcats play. Ryan has really developed over the years. He's a big kid now.
He's playing in Beloit next year, I guess. He's a straight A student.
Yeah, He'll have almost a semester's worth of credit done by the time he graduates high school.
It's about the way you and I were.
Yeah, right. First thing I did was check my diploma, make sure it was signed.
Dominic with a nice running grab, line drive, kind of right center field, and he got a good jump on the ball.
Yeah, he did. Made a fine running catch for a pitcher.
Ball was hit pretty well. You never did tell anybody about during batting practice when you went after that one fly ball, did you? And met the telephone post head on?
In Legion Park.
That was bad.
I think the pole is still there. Yeah, it was batting practice before a Legion game back in about 67.
And that's only for people who are familiar with Legion Park to know where telephone posts were in play out there.
Because they were, inside the park. Anyway, ball hit over my head. I turned my head and
full blast,
checking out the ball. And the next thing I knew, I woke up as they carried me into Marshall's office downtown.
Yeah, they did. You didn't play that night.
No.
I don't think for about a week or so. Didn't you have to sit out a couple of games?
Yeah, it was just like one day. I was back in the lineup the next day. Come on, Shorty.
Okay. Lucas took a 1-1, took a call strike. Off-speed breaking ball away.
That makes a count 2 balls and 1 strike. Anthony's still struggling a little bit with that breaking ball.
It's got to be a 2-to-1 ratio, curveballs to fastballs.
Oh, showed good heat on that one. Lucas swinging right through it. Makes the count 2-2. There's 1 out. Dominic Gonzalez making a nice running catch on a Ryan Schmitz fly ball to right center.
Last time up, he went upstairs on a fastball. Here he hit him with a breaking ball. Didn't have a chance.
And all the South fans are yelling, "Why didn't he get out of the way? He can't just stand there."
When it's thrown right at you, your reaction is you're kind of flat-footed to start with. You never know if you should turn, back up, or what.
Yeah, especially on a breaking ball.
Right.
Well, it's too bad for Anthony because he had 2 strikes.
The pitch selection of breaking ball, and I thought it maybe should have went away with it anyhow, but
you don't see a lot of high school pitchers that pitch inside. I don't know what your feeling is on that, but it just seems like they're a little tentative.
You're right. They are, and but then again, you're only a high school kid. How many years have you?
Oh,
you
exactly.
can't put the ball where you want to most of the time.
When I coached high school baseball, the key was get it over the plate. We weren't worried about spotting the pitches. Of course, we were worried about pitch selection, curves and fastballs, changeups, that kind of thing. But get it over the plate.
Actually, in that respect, they are more advanced than we were. They are a little bit better on that. We just, like you said, we just threw strikes. Even at his hitters, we didn't always think about, well, that's a breaking ball, but we're ahead in the count, so we'll leave it alone and stuff. If it was near the plate, we'd flail at it,
Yeah, exactly.
Of course, we had wooden bats, too, so a lot lower scoring game, shall we say.
That last pitch was a nice breaking ball by Hoytink. Makes the count 0 balls and 2 strikes. Wilsing not taking much of a lead off of first base. There you see him. Now, Lucas should be able to read the move of a left-hander pretty good, you would think.
Has he run it all this year?
Well, let's see.
Pitching tonight, I wouldn't think he would, but just curiosity.
Nope.
Okay.
No attempts either.
There's a high fly ball. It's going to stay fair. I think Dominic Gonzalez has a beat on it.
Yep, Dominic moving over. He makes the catch. Fritz Zank running into the pole. Couldn't quite catch the outfielder making the grab, but trust me, he was there. Dominic again making another catch. Has a chance at a major league record. Dominic does.
To tie one, anyhow.
Tie one, right? In steps Ben Trilling. Trilling hit a line drive home run to left field. And then that was followed up by Noel Deppy's line drive home run also.
He hit one last year to win a game, I remember, early in the spring for North.
Pitch comes in low for a ball. As we watch the game, we haven't hardly paid any attention to the umpiring, and I think this home plate umpire has really called a dandy game so far.
There's been, I don't think, any pitches that anybody questioned.
Right, exactly. Gotta like that.
You did say up here we'd had a good vantage point, and we do either that or we can look at the monitor, of course, but he's been getting a lot of breaking balls, and oftentimes, high school umpires can give up on a big breaking ball, but he stayed with them.
By the way, that breaking ball that you complained about when I was umping was a ball. I didn't give up on it. I heard you up there.
Yeah, and then I get blamed for things, too. I know when other guys are sitting next to me, but
I remember coaching a basketball game at Two Rivers, and Dan Hartman, teacher from Chilton, was sitting behind me just biking on the official. Finally, they called a tee on me.
There's a fastball away for a swinging strike.
1-1 is the count. You chewing gum?
Yes.
I can hear it.
Sorry. Otherwise, what would be my dentures, right?
Oh, you got them?
No.
Oh, good.
I do have an artificial hip. That's bad enough.
You're doing better, though, right?
Doing well.
You look like you were walking real good for not having a cane.
Well, I forgot it again. It's to that point where I'm forgetting it around anyhow, so I guess that means I don't need it, right?
Yeah, exactly. Until it starts aching after a couple days of not using it. Do you set off the Geiger counter now?
Well, as soon as you have that kind of surgery, any replacement, they give you the doctor gives you a card, so when you go through the airport, you flash it right away.
Uh-huh.
So,
all you got to do is remember the card.
Breaking ball away, 2-2.
2 balls and 2 strikes, 2 outs. Lucas Wilsing on at first. North on top, 4-0. We're in the top of the third. Anthony Hoytink on the mound. Bouncing ball through the right side. And Wilsing will play it station to station as Dominic Gonzalez rushes in the throw.
Fastball away, went with it nicely. Was up to it. It's a hard pitch to stay on top of.
Well, you mentioned, he's a good hitter that way. He's actually beyond his years in terms of his approach.
When we go some of these cities, Racine is big on that, and so is Watertown. They show all their hitters. You see their approaches. Breaking balls away, fastball, middle of the plate, you turn on. But everybody has the same approach. We don't quite do that here in town, but it may start.
Mm-hmm. Well, North threatening again, but there are 2 outs. Noel Deppies hit a home run his last time. Takes a breaking pitch in for a strike.
It seems to be his pattern. Starts every hitter off with a slow breaking ball.
Got to be careful with that. South occupying the home dugout, which is along the third base side. North in the visiting dugout over on the first base side. Of course, North is the visitors tonight.
Saw some of the North fans putting up some banners and things today before the ball game. There's a strike 2 call.
They got it on the correct side.
Yeah, really. It is unusual because otherwise Sheboygan's always the third base dugout. Good crowd on hand.
And again, this is something that they're going to be doing from now on, I believe. This is a real good move. Pitch just inside.
Because it's between 2 Sheboygan teams, they don't have to get clearance from the league, or do they? Do you know?
That I don't know. I would imagine they have to talk to somebody. I don't know if you see that in the paper about the realignment.
Yeah, 2 years from now, right?
Yeah. Bill Richards will no longer be the conference commissioner.
Oh, really? He knows that already? Okay.
Yeah, I think he's retiring after the 2007 or September 2007. I can't remember what he told me, but we talked about that a little bit on the air. He's been a conference commissioner for a long time.
Yeah, it really has been. You're right.
2 balls and 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 on. Deuce is wild, as Harry Carey would say.
You can't beat fun at the old ballpark.
Slow breaker.
Pull the string.
Great pitch. Deppies goes down swinging at the end of 3.5. North still on top, 4-0.
In my work, I often look into the eyes of endangered animals, and sadly I realize that for many of them, time is just running out. What kind of world would it be without these beautiful creatures in the great web of life? I don't want to find out, and neither do you. I'm Jeff Corwin. Please join me and Defenders of Wildlife to save something wild for future generations. To find out what you can do, visit defenders.org, because you can make a difference.
Thank you for keeping our country free.
I'm happy you looked out for our country.
It seems we are all more aware of what service to our country really means.
Does anyone know what a veteran is?
You must be brave to go in the Army.
Now it is possible to say thank you directly to America's veterans. Just log on to thankyouveterans.org, select an e-card, and send a personal message of thanks.
Please know that you will be in my prayers always.
I wanted to do something to let them know how I feel.
I'm glad to say I'm an American because of you.
There are 26 million veterans living in America, from World War II to Afghanistan and Iraq. Let a veteran or someone in the military know you appreciate their service. Visit thankyouveterans.org, a public service of Paralyzed Veterans of America.
Back at Wildwood Park, Lucas Wilsing getting set to pitch to Brent Halverson.
Missed a pitch that was outside. Now it's 2-0 count. As I said before, Mr. Halverson here gets on base quite a bit for a man who hasn't played very much. He's from Kohler. He transferred over to South this year.
Only 7 at-bats coming into this ball game, but he does have 3 runs, 1 hit.
You know, we do have 6 non-conference games, and sometimes your memory, you can't remember if it was a conference or non-conference, but I know he had played a lot more games than that.
That's right. These are only conference statistics. That pitch in for a strike makes it 3-1.
There's a fastball up and in.
And Wilsing not very happy with himself, walking the number 9 hitter, his first walk of the ball game. That brings up Adam Math, leadoff hitter. Adam hitting only .220, but I'll tell you, that doesn't nearly speak to his contributions on the season.
You know, he's got a very open stance. He's been working on it, trying to go back up the middle in the opposite way. You can see he's closed his stance here. Well, it's close stance right now. So he's changed, and you know how as a hitter, when you start feeling for that, it takes some time. And again, you know, you only get 60-some at-bats in high school. Sometimes you can't make the corrections in time.
Right, yeah, exactly.
But he's still a heck of a leadoff man. He's always a gamer. And when he's not catching, he plays
He'll
center
get
field.
on base a lot via walks and being hit by pitch.
Last year he got hit by a pitch, I know, an awful lot of time. He'll take one for the club. Lucas is throwing more fastballs this inning so far, but not being able to get it over.
He, every once in a while, will run into trouble, you know, with control. And, you know, sometimes you get too comfortable in terms of a fan, you know, where you think, come on, he should be throwing strikes all the time. And he's really good. You know, he strikes out a lot of guys, but, you know, he's human.
Ryan Schmitz, their number 2 pitcher, came in from third base to settle him down a little bit. I would think there's a take sign on here.
You'd think. Halverson on at first. Adam Math up with a 2-ball, no-strike count.
There's ball 3, another fastball. He's getting his breaking ball over better than he is his fastball.
And on deck is Taylor Schwartz. He's looking to drive the ball.
See, he threw a slider 3-0, but he's getting his breaking ball over better than he is his fastball.
That pitch just on the inside corner for a strike. 3-1 is the count. No outs. Math with a good rip at a fastball, came up empty.
Full count, nobody out, down by 4. We'll see if they send him or not. He's not getting much of a lead.
He's barely 2 steps off the base.
Not going any place. He is now, as he's swinging a miss, strike 3.
Well,
good fastball upstairs. Think it might have been ball 4?
Yeah, it looked like it. Pitch got away from Trilling. Math is out because there was a runner on first, but Halverson goes to second on the pass ball. Now with 1 out, Taylor's up.
But it looked like we're going to have an inning there with, you know, if he walks that guy with nobody out.
Oh, yeah, that's...
Halverson's got to get off the bag more.
Taylor drives one to center. It's going to drop for a hit.
Drop. Halverson didn't get much of a break. They're sending him anyhow. There's going to
Throw
be
to
a play on him. And he's
a little bit
in there.
late.
Okay.
Trilling can't come up with it, and Taylor Schwartz runs down to second base on the throw home. Good piece of coaching over there by Coach Clace.
Yeah, he never hesitated. He didn't have much of a jump off the bag originally.
No, he was actually holding, making sure it was going to drop in, but Halverson showing pretty good speed.
4-0 game. If I'm an infielder, I like to cut it because you like to keep the double play or a force play intact, especially with a nice lead. Now another hit could score another run.
Ben Hendricks up. Hendricks reached on an error, slapped the hard grounder to Ryan Schmitz, and he was unable to come up with it. Breaking pitch is in for a strike.
You always hear left-handers complaining when there's a left-hander saying, I hate it against left-handers. Right-handers never get to say that, do they?
No, you never hear that. John Kruk was pretty funny in that All-Star game against Randy Johnson.
Remember when he grabbed his heart? There's a ball.
Ball bouncing in the dirt.
Take a round, look and see what you got there.
Wild pitch, eh, Coach?
Yep. That hit the dirt off his shin guards, I think.
You know, I got in his habit to work all these games with Chris Wright. You know, I was calling the coach. And then I was with Bill Richards. Oh, he's the coach. Well, sometimes it slips out, Greg.
As long as you don't call me Dad or something like that.
Really. Runner on third now, only one out.
The infield's back every place but third, so a ground ball to second or short will score another one.
That pitch is low, makes the count 2 balls and 1 strike. Taylor Schwartz taking a lead off of third in foul territory like he should, just like his dad taught him. Ooh. Another pitch in the dirt. Good stop by Trilling.
Looks like he's trying to overthrow a little bit on that one, Marty.
Exactly. Saw some of that with Ryan Schmitz when he pitched in that game the other last week against Southwest. He could overpower him, but sometimes he just threw too hard and then he lost his control.
There's a breaking ball away. It's got a nice. That looks like more of a slider or slurve than a curveball because he does have that off-speed curveball. Now Ben's got you saw his stolen bases. He has 8. And I don't know if he's been caught maybe once.
Well, they don't have that stat down.
And this is just a conference, but he does run well. I would think this is a place for it.
Well, they're talking about what they're going to do. John Valdez is up. Valdez went down, struck out swinging last time, but I'll tell you, he's got good power. You're looking at the tying run at the plate.
Chased a fastball up. I'm sure he's a senior. He learned from that. He's faced Lucas many times over the years.
Chris Wright, number 23, talking to the troops.
I asked Chris before the game. I says, Chris, give me a little insight. What do you have? 200 some wins? 220, I guess it is, Coach.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. I know. I think this is his 13th year as the head coach.
Okay.
And he's probably got somewhere around 15 or 16 in the program. He started off when David Moyer was the head coach.
Okay.
He wears that number 23 in honor of his uncle Dave Gare.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Dave was a coach in the dugout.
He was there before the game telling me that he was trying to coach his changeup. He said his changeup is going well tonight.
Trying to coach the pitchers. That's not a good thing.
It wasn't a changeup, he said, but he has no arm speed, so he calls it that. Coach Wright's coming in smiling here. Some fan must be heckling him.
I think it's his wife.
Well, he's still smiling, so that's a good thing. For 22, John Valdez. We'll see what they do here.
John Valdez is up with runners on first and third. It's 4-1.
Let's see what Lucas goes after him with. You can't touch that, John, upstairs above the hands at about 83 or 4.
And it was a ball besides. That would have been ball 1. But I tell you, it looks good.
Yeah, when your eyes see it, it does. But, it's tough for your hands to get to that.
No balls, 1 strike. There's only 1 out. We talked about the shortstop and his positioning. Well, right now, Mitchell is cutting behind the pitcher to make sure the throw is okay. But even as he goes back into his normal shortstop position, which is way to the right, he's too far over towards second base. You'd like to see him.
They may just think they're not going to pull Lucas. I'm not sure either why he'd be that close to the bag. There's a ball that just missed off the corner.
Good breaking ball, but like you called, Greg, couldn't quite get it over. It's 2-1 now.
No,
good hitters count.
North counts pitches, right? Charge pitches.
Boy, I don't know.
I don't think
it's
South.
A good running count right here.
Yeah. There's this. Ooh, down.
Down low.
Close pitch. 2 of them close.
Lucas having a little trouble now with his control again.
Body language, either he's upset with himself or the umpire right now. And his last 2 are pretty close. He may send Ben here.
I think the umpiring's been real good. I don't think he has anything to complain about there.
Right. There's one that wasn't close.
Not even close. Outside and low, and that loads him up, and there's still only 1 out. Tony Hoytink up, and Hoytink singled and...
Well hit ball to left field. Talk about helping your own cause here, huh?
Really? Singled back in the 2nd inning.
Anything but a pop-up and a grounder to mound now scores at least 1.
A lot of fans here and a lot of familiar faces. You know, a lot of kids back from college, some Sheboygan A's sitting down below us. Their season starts on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. They're playing in the Northeastern Wisconsin tournament. I think that's up in Manitowoc.
Do they have their 65-game schedule again or whatever?
It's pretty many. I think it approaches 60, a little over probably. But what they did this year, Greg, that they didn't do last year is they're not starting so soon.
It does seem to be a couple weeks later, doesn't it?
This way they get their college players back. And
otherwise they're scrambling to get the right position players in the field, I suppose.
Line drive out to left field. It's going to drop for extra bases. All the way to the wall. 2 runs are in. Valdez rounding third.
There's no play.
Valdez showing good speed off of third. Hoytink helping his cause with a 3-run double, and we're all tied up at 4.
Hit that one well, and it cleared the bases. There was no play. That was a middle of the plate in. Looked like a fastball.
Well, I'll tell you, he hit that ball so hard. You know, at first I thought it was going to be a loop and line drive and drop in there. I mean, all of a sudden it's at the wall. He really hit that ball hard. Hoytink stops at second. That brings up Tony Gallhart.
Courtesy runner.
Kabai back in to run. Kabai's second trip out there. John stole a base. There you see that line drive splitting the outfielders.
Rolled all the way to the fence, no question.
Binder was the first outfielder to it. And there you see Kabai out at second. Gallhart, a strikeout victim his first time up, is at the plate.
Ooh.
Just missed.
Chin music on a good fastball.
Really, now if you had a good curveball,
away now.
You get him stepping over to first base, looking at that pitch.
Now he wants to go down and away with one.
Lucas trying to stem the tide. South has come back with a 4-run inning to tie it at 4 apiece.
For whatever reason, he's having a tough time getting his fastball over.
Yeah. If he's trying to overthrow.
Now, I haven't seen a lot of good arms in the conference, to be truthful. I'd say he throws the hardest.
Of the guys that I've seen going to these games and the little bit of umpiring I did, you're right. You know, nobody even comes close to his velocity anyway. Although I was telling Chris today at the the North girls regional game against Fond du Lac that I thought this Eric Ives really did a heck of a job. He didn't throw more than about 60 miles an hour, but he was always around the plate. He didn't walk anybody. And
well, you know, strike one, first of all, is the nicest pitch you can have, isn't it? Changes the whole complexion of a hitter.
That was Tom Fogel. I remember when he was coaching Legion, he heard him talking to his kids. He said, you know, the most important pitch in baseball is strike one. I thought, you know, that's right. It allows you to do so much more. First and second, 1 out.
Frankie usually gets the ball in play here.
Frank hit the ball pretty hard his last time. Flew out to Schmitz out in center field.
Boy, he's struggling with his fastball, Marty.
Well,
it's easier for us, but the hitter's got to be almost looking off speed now.
Brian Bass warming up for North.
There's a there's a strike. I was going to say that looked pretty good. I think that was a slider again. That seems to be what he wants when he wants to get over for a strike.
1-1 is the count. Raff takes that pitch outside. Brian Bass threw an effective inning last week in that tough loss North had. Had a 3-0 lead and lost it 5-3.
There's a slider over inside corner for a strike. That evens the count up at 2-2.
I think Frank is kicking himself wide, and I offered at that pitch. It looked pretty good.
Like I said, you almost have to be looking for that because that's the only pitch he's getting over. Of course, with 2 strikes, it's a different story. You got to look for anything. Look fastball and just breaking ball. Well, there was a good fastball for strike 3. Took a good cut.
Frank goes down. That brings up Dominic Gonzalez. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 strikeouts for Lucas, and when they've hit the ball, this inning anyway, they got hits.
Yeah.
And
well, his base on balls got him in trouble.
Yep, you're right. That's what was the key.
Dominic's got to shorten up his swing now. His bottom hand, take him to the ball. Don't chase anything up there.
Dominic takes that first pitch up high for a ball. Larry Sue, John Kabai taking his lead off a second. Mitchell Gardner behind him. Pitch outside for a ball. 2-0.
Those were 2 fastballs again that he missed with that weren't even close.
Now, when you struggle with your control, it's kind of like when you're batting, and you can't seem to find that groove. Same thing happens on the mound.
See, he gets a slider over.
Dominic with a good solid swing, but came up empty. It's 2 balls and 1 strike. There's 2 outs now. Runners still on first and second for South. Kabai, courtesy running for Hoytink at second, who doubled in 3 runs to tie up the ball game.
Regardless if nothing happens here or not, and there's a
Gallhard is on
3.
first base.
When a pitcher's struggling like this, the infielders are on their heels instead of their toes. And we talked. North coach Wright said they're making a lot of errors this year. That may be in part sometimes.
Of it too. Yeah. Good point. Guy that comes to mind is Steve Traxel, very slow worker. It's hard to stay in the ball game for 9 innings when you're working that slow. Dominic hammers one out to center field, but Schmitz made a good break, and now he's coming in, and he's got the catch for out number 3.
We'll start all over when we get to the 4th.
At the end of 3 complete, it's now all tied up, 4-4.
Wisconsin. Life's so good. Call 1-800-432-TRIP or visit travelwisconsin.com.
Lou Burdette used to before you guys remember that with the old Braves.
There you see some South fans. You got to be a little more happy than they were 10 minutes ago.
I don't know if they look cold or what. I
don't know. It's nice in the booth. We don't have our sweatshirts on or anything.
You're donning a pair of shorts. I don't know if the crowd could see the pregame show or not and appreciate that.
I think they had the top part. Actually, it probably would have been more entertaining to see our feet. What did Dave say? You got your Gander Mountain outfit on?
I think that was for you, wasn't it? I don't know.
No way.
Oh, is this jeans, I guess, is Gander Mountain, right? I don't know. I'm not a woodsman per se.
No.
Still showing the South crowd. There's Coach Goes, the JV coach who was victorious tonight.
Yeah, he's had a pretty good go of it. I had an opportunity to umpire a couple of his ball games. He's got some nice players there.
So I just won the conference for Legion 2 years running now as a JV coach.
Well, the part of the order that's had caused, I shouldn't say caused problems, but North has had problems with is the bottom part. In this inning, it'll be 7, 8, and 9 for North. And so far in tonight's game, they're 0 for 3.
Okay. And this is the time of the night where the lights haven't quite taken effect yet.
That's another thing, as we get deeper in the game and it gets darker, that should help the vision on the ball. But still, kids aren't used to playing at night. This is the only 2 games they'll play at night all year, in the high school season anyway. So that could play a factor.
See, the wind is still out of the south.
Blowing south to north across the field.
Helping the right-handed hitters out, I guess. There's
line drive.
One hopper to Frankie.
He makes a real nice pickup.
Throws it low.
And Hendrick not able to come up with it. That was going to be a tough play, but I'll tell you, Ben really hangs in there. Frank maybe a little too quick on that. He had time.
I always empathize with third basemen in high school baseball as I was one.
Your position, right?
It's
they didn't call you Nettles for nothing.
Right, want to let people know who Greg Nettles was, right? But anyhow, it's hard to position yourself in high school baseball because you can't play too deep, obviously. Yet you play even with the bag. Sometimes it hits the cutoff, and sometimes you find yourself in no man's land.
When you say the cutoff, you're talking where the grass meets the dirt.
Right. I would say you got a bunt Mitchell here, although
North doesn't like to bunt much, and with the 9-hitter up,
that's true.
Yeah, may let him hit away. Mitchell popped up to the pitcher. Anthony making a real nice play, heading towards right field. The ball was actually over his head, but he made the catch.
Off-speed pitch down and away. Sometimes you got to look at the fact, Tony, in high school, I guess not as much, but it was a long inning for South, and plus Tony was on the bases with the double.
Just for a little while because Goodbye went out there. But still, he's nice pitch there by...
That almost looked like it ran away from him. Maybe a little screwball or something. The natural left-handed tail, probably.
Now, you know the one thing I don't remember when I was umping that game for Anthony, his
fastball doesn't move?
Well, no. I was just going to ask. I don't remember. Does he got the kind of movement that some left-handers have where it's almost impossible to throw a straight ball?
Yeah, I haven't seen that yet, but then again, I haven't sat behind the plate in a lot of them either.
Bill Richards and I were talking about that. Sometimes, for whatever reason, left-handers, not right-handers though, which is weird. Left-handers seem to, you run into these guys where they just can't throw a straight ball.
Right.
But you don't find that much with right-handed pitchers.
No, very little.
2 balls and 1 strike to Mitchell Gardner. There's no outs. Brad Schmitz on it first. Pitch rides low, 3-1. This is a key batter for Hoytink. We mentioned about the bottom of the order not doing much. Well, they got their number 7 hitter, the leadoff hitter in the inning, on base. This was supposed to be the easy part of the order.
Well, there's a big pitch. Throw over. I don't think he's going any place on that.
Let's see what Schmitz has done on the bases. He's got 1 stolen base and 1 attempt.
I think Brad can run pretty well. Actually, he'd be a pretty good baseball player if he wanted to play baseball in the summertime, but he was a basketball player for most of his career.
Right.
Well, there's a fastball away. Now he got a bunt.
Nathan Hummich is probably their most adept bunter. Craig Clay's coming out.
Now you got to either wheel play or Frankie Raff has to stay home. This is kind of a tough situation. As a matter of fact, sometimes you can steal a base because Frank Raff may want to charge in a bunt.
Explain to the fans what the wheel play is, how that works.
Okay, that's where the third baseman is coming in for the bunt. Sometimes he stays home and lets the pitcher cover the third base side. On a wheel play, the third baseman is going to charge hard, and the shortstop's got to cover third. And it's a tough play, but
where would the second baseman go?
Second baseman will still want to take first probably because the first baseman is going to have to cover for the bunt as well.
Now, when I was coaching at Chilton, we had a play where we'd send the third baseman in way ahead of time.
Okay.
Send the shortstop way ahead of time.
Right.
With the intention of getting that man on second to jump
so you
off.
Second baseman?
Second baseman goes to second and looks for the pickoff play. And we had the guy, but he throw was high and he just got under the tag.
Well, in high school you can trick guys. We do a play where a second baseman on a bunt will sometimes first baseman charges hard and second baseman actually goes to first to pick off a runner. So there are things, being new at base running that you can get away with.
Hummich squares around, lays down a great bunt down the third base side. He's got good speed. Throw is not in time. They call him safe. Taylor going over to tag the runner, but Hummich looked like he stepped on the bag and turned his ankle.
Ooh, the throw pulled him off, but I thought he held.
Can we get a replay of that, Scott? That's a big play in this ball game. Hummich is going to get a sacrifice, and I think we're going to get to be almost an error, huh?
Yeah, it'll have to be sacrificing the error in the throw. Hummich is okay. Tough football player. He's up.
Let's see Scott whining her hair. We see it.
No, we missed him.
Saw him go down. I probably tripped over the bag. It's hard to tell. We caught that a little bit late. Sacrifice E5.
Well, you gave South the kiss of death when you said the bottom of the order hasn't done much. So now we got the bases loaded. Now we go in the top of the order.
Nobody out. Alex Binder up. Binder is 2 for 2. And then was picked off a first base after his second hit. He scored after his first hit on his first hit back in the first. We're in the top of the fourth, all tied up. Hoytink with a breaking pitch. Binder swings over the top.
It's a tough pitch to call on that, don't you think?
Well, you want to get ahead of the hitter. It worked out that time.
In at the corners, back up the middle. Both pitchers, the pitch counts are starting to mount.
We talked about Mitchell Gardner being shaded up the middle. It looks like Dahlhardt's doing the same thing.
Maybe some of it has to do with confidence in their ability to throw from a hole.
Or wanting to hold a runner at second, but I'll tell you,
we used to hold runners with a wheel play. Shortstop would wheel in, and then when he's done, the second baseman would wheel in, but we don't do that here. I don't know if North does either, but we don't hold runners very well at second base.
That pitch was a strike, and now it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Hoytink looking for the strikeout.
Maff sets up away. A fastball gets, that'll score a run.
Taylor's throw to first is in time to get Binder, but not before a run comes home.
Plus, he was a productive out, and that he moved the runners along was as good as a sacrifice. Gets an RBI for it, but in that bat.
Moves runners up to second and third. One out. Ryan Schmidt's up.
Who's hit the ball well both times.
Doubled in a run, back in the first, and hit not a scorcher, but
nice.
Gonzalez had to get on his horse to track that one down in right center field.
The infield's still back, so they can see the run here.
Well, they got to think they got pretty good confidence in and being able to score some more.
You needed a strikeout in the last hitter, I thought.
Yeah, he had 2 strikes on him, but Binder did a good job of getting the bat on the ball.
Sometimes hitting the ball less is better than hitting it hard.
Yeah, I was going to say he hit it in a great spot, even though he didn't hit it well. First pitch. Breaking pitch is up high.
Both pitchers throw a lot of breaking balls in the first. You said you don't know if Coach Wright calls them or he doesn't call the pitches, huh?
I kind of doubt that he does.
Well, Lucas has been pitching at high school, varsity level since he's a freshman, so probably no need there. That'll score a run. If it's in play, it's going to go foul.
In foul territory. Gonzalez making a catch.
Well, not staying behind the fly ball, that'll score a run easily on that, right?
Sacrifice fly for Schmitz. Brings home another run for North.
I lost sight of him, but he was in foul territory, right?
He was way in foul territory, and you're right. You know, I think one of the best outfielders, and we're going back now to our day, was Al Kaline. Would really line himself up well to make the throw, and you know, that goes back to what you mentioned real early in the broadcast about routes to the ball.
You know, he was one of those guys when he used to talk about team errors because he'd always hit base runners in the back with perfect throws. And they'd give him a poor guy an error, you know, and it was a perfect throw. Going from second to third most times. He played right field, you're right. So that's only 1 out and the runner in scoring position yet.
Well, there should be 2 outs, I think, because we had a...
That's right, there's 2 outs, the ground out and the fly out. There you go. There's a gap shot.
Racing over is Valdez.
Hook over Halverson, and it
Halverson comes over and makes the catch.
Played him well.
I had my eye on Valdez, and all of a sudden I could see he wasn't going to get it, and in stepped Brent Halverson to make the catch and save another run.
He had him played well that time. The ball sliced back over to him.
In the inning, though, North comes up with 2 runs on no hits, 1 error, and 1 man left.
When you think of the reasons people end up in the ER, you probably wouldn't think of West Nile virus from mosquitoes, asthma attacks from cockroaches, hantavirus from rodents, or Lyme disease from ticks. Even bites from fire ants and other stinging insects send 500,000 people here every year. But you could make a difference in helping to protect your family from pest-related illnesses. Go to pestworld.org to learn how. Why wait until there's an emergency?
Recycling Magic Take 3.
Would you believe this chair was given a new look from an old sweater? It's easy. Just take an old sweater and staple it down to the bottom of a seat cushion, add a fresh coat of paint, screw it back on, and you've recycled an old sweater into something new. Here's something else you can recycle: old rechargeable batteries from cordless phones, power tools, and other cordless products. It's easy and it helps protect the environment.
Answer the call to recycle your old rechargeable batteries. Visit us online or call toll-free to learn more.
Back at Wildwood Baseball Park, South in the the bottom of the third scored 4 to tie it, and then North came right back to score 2. I think I mentioned just before we went off the air that there was 1 error in the inning. There actually were 2. North had no hits. We got that part of it right. Brent Halverson up. Halvey walked and scored in the third.
Takes a fastball down and in. He had played Lucas Wilson in left center field, and the ball sliced over to him. I thought when he left his bat, it was a gap shot.
Yeah, you called it right off. But Halverson filled the gap and made the catch.
There's a strike.
That evens the count at 1-1. We mentioned Halverson walked and scored in the third, advanced to second on a pass ball, and then scored on your son's base hit. Pitch bounces in.
Again, fastballs. Had
the umpire bailing out on that one.
Ben Trilling doing the catching tonight. He didn't catch the last 2 years, basically, but he
No,
always was a good catcher.
Yep. Eric
Just
Klein. Matter of fact, I talked with Eric a little bit today over at the girls' game. He's in town, home from college. Goes to lacrosse.
Lacrosse, that was your alma mater, right?
Yeah. A lot of fun there.
Did he, he's going to play for Howard's Grove, I think? Did you hear that?
Yep,
Okay,
yep.
yeah.
Talked to him a little bit about that. They played the Cedarburg Mercs the other day.
Oh, they played already, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bud Wright in the park. Bud, Chris's dad, coached the Jefferson 4th and 5th grade team this winter.
Oh, I think he went. He did.
Halvey let the bat out a little too far for strike 3. 4 walks in the third for Wilsing. That really was his undoing, allowing those 4 runs.
Number 6, Adam Nath.
I just saw Adam have a little conference with the ump. I don't know if that was about asking him if he went around or what, but he's a captain. So I don't know, in baseball, does a captain have the right to question things like he does in basketball?
Well, I would imagine.
Now, we do have 3 of them, and it's usually a senior honor type thing.
Right.
Slider for a strike. Actually, that was a big curveball there, I think.
Looked like a big breaker. Strike 1. Wilsing with 7 strikeouts in the ball game to bring that up. What's really interesting about Lucas, one inning he'll struggle like crazy, and next thing all of a sudden he's throwing nothing but strikes and right around the plate. As a coach, it has you scratching your head.
He does give you innings year after year. He's had a little back and arm trouble periodically in the last couple of years, but he still gives you some innings. I know Legion, he hasn't been able to pitch the innings that he wanted to in the summertime.
Well, he's coming off a bit of an injury last year. There's a line drive right at Schmitz, and he makes the grab. Well, Adam's not going to hit the ball any harder than that. And all he has is an out to show for it.
That's why they call it the hot corner.
Really brings up your son. Singled in a run in the third. Struck out in the first. We don't want to mention that too much.
Yeah, he took a breaking ball there with 2 strikes. He's got to protect. You'll hear it from Dad.
How about Mom?
No. She has to intervene sometimes.
Ball pop foul. Now Taylor going to be playing second base with the Legion team, you think, too?
Well, I hope he gets some shortstop reps, but yeah, he'll be playing second. He played all last year and did really, really well. I think he was like second in the conference or something, hitting for a long time.
That ball's hit foul.
Crowd is up. We don't know if it got anybody out there. As far as cars on.
Yeah, I think it didn't quite make it across New Jersey Avenue. I think it did hit a car or a van of some sort.
He and Ben, 2 buddies from years ago, long baseball years, are talking things over, Ben Trilling and him.
Home plate umpire over by South's dugout.
Maybe it was his car out there, Marty.
Maybe he's looking for a ball. Give us that infield ball. We'll use that.
I don't know. Does a home team have to supply so many in high school?
Usually start off with 3. And I know Craig has a box of balls sitting right on the top of the dugout. And then, as you need them, they toss them out to you.
They don't rub the, what river is that mud on there?
Yeah, Delaware River, I think. But no, they don't they don't rub them up ahead of time. You just go with it. Big breaker.
Oh,
down on strikes. Wilsing looking good that inning. At the end of 4 complete. North on top, 6-4, pardon me. Up 2.
Let's play a game. Let's pretend you own an apartment building and I want to rent from you. I make a good salary, have a good credit history. Would you rent your place to me? How about now? Do you still like me? What if I have an accent or a disability? What if I'm a single parent? Would you steer me away? Would you close the door? Would you?
The Fair Housing Act protects your right to live where you want. If you think you've been discriminated against, call us.
Fruit. What a tasty treat. Fruits packed with potassium and other nutrients can help keep your heart pumping strong during the game And they give you energy back so you can take on the next activity. Can your food do that? Run, throw, think, eat better. Find out more at smallstep.gov.
Looking at the seedings for the WIA tournament, and on the bottom part of the bracket, Oshkosh North plays Oshkosh West. The winner of that game is going to play Fond du Lac, and then when they've got that next round sorted out, they get to travel to Madison to play. Sweet,
Jeez.
huh?
Yeah.
Sectionals in Madison.
I didn't notice that either. I don't quite get that, but nevertheless.
No. So they'll be playing here in Sheboygan, Hartford and South, and then the winner of that game will play against Sheboygan North here in Sheboygan. And on the bottom part, they play at Oshkosh North, the two Oshkosh schools, and then the winner of that will travel to Fond du Lac to play the Fond du Lac game, and then the winners move on to the sectionals at Madison La Follette.
So if I'm reading this right, now if South beats Hartford, then they play North again after that, right?
Yep, next
Friday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Week from today, or week from this Friday, June 2nd.
There's where the bye comes into play. And I know it's funny because they draw seeds and they pick pairings before the season's over, which is kind of funny when you think about it. There's a base hit to center.
Dropping in front of Valdez. He has a little trouble with it, but Reschke will throw out the anchor at first base.
John is usually a corner outfielder. As a matter of fact, he hasn't played much center at all.
John showed pretty good speed when he was perched on first and scored all the way from first on Hoytank's double, though. But there's a certain comfort zone you're in when you're in your regular corner spot, and all of a sudden they throw you over in center field. And
never been an outfielder, but they always say the balls hit right at you. Usually the hardest to judge. Now, you played mostly center, right?
Well, I was looking at Legion ball, and Victor was a center fielder, and I was a left fielder.
Okay.
That my last year with Sheboygan, the A's, I probably played a little more center field than the corners.
Throw over.
Well, another inning where North gets their leadoff hitter on, and that brings up Trilling. Trilling is 2 for 2. He's over 400 now for the season. Came in hitting .392.
There's another base hit inside out at that one. Didn't know he hit it. He gets out of the box now. Kind of an awkward swing, but he'll take it any time.
Reschke holds at
make contact.
Second.
Good things can happen.
Yeah.
Actually, I think that pitch came up and he kind of sawed him off. It ate him up. Yes.
Yeah, 8 hits now for North, and 4 of them or 2 of them coming in this inning.
Now here's Noel Deppies, is this, who had the home run?
Yeah, Deppies homered in the first, struck out in the third. He's 1 for 2. And steps in with runners on first and second. I think, the key to the game so far, in my mind, Greg,
there's that pitch out, but he didn't got to get closer to the bag. The runner wasn't off far enough, but that's the play I was mentioning before.
Yeah. I've seen you guys do that before, and I think, was it one of the other high school teams I had as an umpire did that play also, unsuccessfully, but it's there. I was going to say one of the keys to the game was when South was able to tie it up, and then North came right back to score those 2.
There's a pop foul back here, no play on the roof above us.
Yeah.
Took the bunt off on that one.
That evens the count at 1-1.
Now, Noel is thinned out from when I coached him years ago in 7th and 8th grade. He was kind of a stocky kid.
Really? Well, that'll happen when you grow up. You get a little taller and thin out. And then you get old like us, and you get big again.
Yeah. It runs the whole cycle.
1 ball and 1 strike. There's no outs. North has runners on first and second. Anthony Hoytink on the mound.
See if they put the bunt play back. They don't. Curveball high.
Have you assimilated with the Red Wings, or are you still a Redman?
It's funny. They gave the South baseball players, Coach Clays found some old baseball jackets and somewhere in the depths. There's a
Oh, the
shot to
drive
center
to center
field. I
field.
think that's going to be up the gap. And
Valdez
it is.
Can't quite get it. Picks it up near the fence, hustles it back in.
Two-run score. There's a
long
rainbow
throw.
in.
Yeah. Deppies.
Throw the ball.
They got Deppies nailed.
He's out.
Good play by Hoytink to get the runner, but not before Deppies doubled in a pair of runs for the Raiders.
8-6-2-1-4-5 if you're scoring, Marty.
Are
On
you
the
serious?
double. Yeah, it is.
8.
Valdez to Gullard, his throw to Math, who fired to Hoytink, who threw to Schwartz, who threw to Ralph. But he scored 2.
Deppies hitting the ball real hard tonight.
That was hit well.
Valdez gave it his best shot, but it was just hit too far. That brings up Brad Schmitz. Schmitty is 0 for 2, but he scored a run, reached on an error, and scored back in the 4th. It's now 8-4 North.
I don't know, there's some action in the bullpen. I don't know if somebody's playing catch or if somebody's starting to throw down there.
Or if they're horsing around.
Tried to get something on a fastball and was up and away.
Now South was to go to a relief pitcher, probably be Greinke.
Yeah, that's would be my guess. We've got a whole week off, so you might as well go,
go deep
with your true pitchers. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I'd go. You'd think they'd go a lot quicker even.
Pitches a strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
We tied him up inside.
Good pitch by Hoytink to strike out Schmitz. Now there's 2 outs in the inning, and that brings up Mitchell Gardner. Gardner is 0 for 1, and he walked his second time up and scored back in the 4th.
Maybe there's nobody throwing for South.
Not anymore. I saw somebody running around there too when you mentioned that. We got these conference stats. We didn't refer to any of this.
Are there any lights in the booth or not? It's getting to that point.
I was thinking about that, but I don't know if they want to let us turn them on. According to our list here from Chris Wright, Frank is...
I don't know how many at-bats you need to qualify for something, but
he's the highest rated Sheboygan player. He's hitting 375 in league. And then right below him is Ben Trilling hitting 371.
Well, 3 for 3 tonight for Ben.
Yeah, he's going to move up the chart. Pitches in the dirt, swung at and missed. Evens the count at 2-2. There's 2 outs. We're in the top of the 5th. North on top, 8-4. South is going to have to mount another rally, Greg.
Yep.
They're capable of it.
Well, they need more than 3 hits. They got help last time. That's out number 3 as we go into the bottom of the 5th.
In the 5th, North came up with 2 runs on 3 hits. There were no errors and nobody left on base.
Low-fat cheese sandwiches on whole wheat bread. Chewy and good for you. Snacks high in calcium help build strong bones, and foods rich in fiber are good for your heart. So you have the power to dominate. Can your food do that? Run, throw, think, eat better. Find out more at smallstep.gov.
2 words for you. Pop quiz. Ready? Name any funny movie. A drama. Name a mystery. And one more thing. Name the movie your kids saw today in science class.
Know what really matters. Know about your kid's school. And know about your kid. Find out 100 ways to know more, do more.
He was.
Wasn't Gordy on that team too?
Yeah, Gordy was.
Gordy played a little bit out in Howard's Grove. He had
threw
a couple of real good seasons, actually.
He threw really well, and he came from sidearm. He only played that 1 year of baseball, Then he played after that, yeah. But then
He had
Carthage,
that
as a
whip
matter of fact,
action, you know.
Yeah. His arm got tired at the end of the year.
Kent
Yeah, really. Are we on the air here?
We are on. There you see Ben Trilling getting ready to start the bottom of the 5th. It'll be Hendricks, Valdez, and Hoytink. Meet part of the order for South to get something going.
Better take a few pitches here, see if he can get his fastball over or not. That's how we had our last rally. I shouldn't say we. That's how South had their last rally.
Well, in your case, it's we.
Yeah.
By the way, thanks a lot for doing this tonight.
Oh, I appreciate it. When
I
you
know
called
you like
today
doing
in
this.
school, it was fun. Yeah, I was looking forward to it.
What I was really impressed is when I answered the phone, I said, Greg, this is Mike Martin. So I knew you right
I
away.
recognized the voice. I did. Usually when the phone rings in school, I say, oh, who's calling now? You know, that's what I say at home, but even in school I say that.
Well, the secretary said, don't call too many minutes after the bell because he might be out of the building getting lunch. And I said, he's always out to lunch. What do you mean? So I must have called just in time. I could hear a little noise in the
There were
background
still
like the kids
students,
leaving.
you're right. Breaking ball, 1-1 pitch. Oh, there's a nice breaking ball. You didn't call it. Okay, 2-1.
It must have been low. Looked like it dropped down low. Ben Hendricks rips a shot right to the second baseman, Lienhardt. He makes the play over to first.
You see, he was only a step away, and he's gotten about 3 or 4 hits like that this year.
Yeah.
Second baseman doesn't realize how fast he is.
We had a guy that played at Howard's Grove with us for a while by the name of Billy Brust from Sheboygan Falls. Man, was that guy fast. You know, he had a routine grounder, and all of a sudden, blinking eyes, past the bag.
You go so far back there, Danny Weiskopf still played, didn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Of course, he played till he's in his 40s, right?
Danny, you know, was a high school graduate and didn't go to college or anything, but the guy could have had a psychology degree. I mean,
Really?
he just knew how to handle pitchers, you know, and he called a great game. Didn't have a real strong arm, but he had probably the quickest release of a catcher I've ever seen. And a heck of a nice guy.
Yeah, I see him. He still works for the city of Sheboygan.
Yep. 1-1 is the count.
Unlike you or I, who are going to retire in a few years.
Hopefully. Another pitch in the dirt. Valdez takes it. Now, Wilsing's had some success with the high fastball against John. We haven't seen that yet. This at bat anyway.
There's a fastball off the corner. No, strike. He's got a deliberate call there.
He's called a good game, this guy. I think he's...
I haven't seen too many arguments. I guess
No.
that's an indication, right?
Right. Oh, I remember coming to a game here. It was a North game against someone, a conference game. I think it was last year. Called strike 3. Good pitch by Wilsing. But, gosh, anything that was low, the umpire was literally running away from home plate. I mean, just diving out. You know, it looked really bad. You know, normal pitches, of course, he hung in there, but anything that was close.
Okay.
You
Maybe he
know,
forgot his shin guards that night?
I don't know. Chest protector. 2 outs, nobody on.
We could name other paraphernalia, but we'll stop at that.
Yeah, that's enough. They get the idea. Anthony Hoytink up. Now, Anthony's having a good night at the plate. He's 2 for 2 with 3 RBIs. Big breaker hangs up high.
Actually, I'd be surprised if he comes out in the 6th, but I don't think anybody's throwing. Oh, yeah, there is now.
Taylor's over there throwing.
Okay.
Getting ready.
There's a shot following a breaking ball past Coach Clace.
Hammers it right off the fence down the left field line. Binder trucking over there to get it. Well, we mentioned that Notre Dame beat Manitowoc tonight to assure themselves of at least a tie for the conference championship. South needs to win this last game of the season to tie Notre Dame for first place. Bouncing ball.
You may have trouble getting him.
Schmitz with a strong
he got
throw.
him by a step. Okay.
At the end of 5 complete, North on top, 8-4.
Sheboygan A's baseball is baseball the way it was meant to be played. A's baseball features hard-hitting action, a family atmosphere, and fan-friendly excitement. The 2006 season is about to begin, and you can be part of every game by becoming a member of the Sheboygan Athletic Club. As an athletic club member, you will be part of one of the finest amateur baseball programs in the Midwest. Receive free admission for all 2006 A's home games, are entitled to reduced prices at the concession stand, and will develop friendships that will last a lifetime. To learn more, contact the Sheboygan Athletic Club at 458-4377 or log on to sheboyganbaseball.org.
Hey, do you know who did the voiceover on that, Greg?
You said you did.
Yeah.
Mike Martin did the voiceover on that A's commercial, in case you fans didn't know.
Do you recognize the voice?
You're right. Taylor Schwartz is on the mound here in the 6th.
Now, what does he feature? Does he feature a strike?
He throws a good breaking ball, a good fastball. He's been 81 as he tops out at least that's what the combines had him at. He throws a pretty decent changeup, and I didn't know he throws a cutter, so I asked Madsen. I says, well, can he just throw a fastball with some movement? No, it moves that much that he has to call. So in that respect, there's 4 pitches. I don't know.
Trying to find out what the infield situation is. Yeah. Kid at shortstop.
The guard's still at short, and that would
Jacob
be
Risto, I
Risto,
think.
freshman at second base, right? He was brought up a couple games earlier in the year when there was a little suspension, so he played second. He probably played for the freshmen tonight, I would guess. You can do both, right?
He was on
Or
the JVs the last two
JVs.
games I did. Valdez moved over to left field.
And Halverson's out of the game. So
yeah, and Whitink is in center.
So that means that Risto would be batting for
Halverson in the ninth spot.
Right. So we have how much leading off? First pitch is a fastball for a strike. What's Hummer done so far tonight?
Hummich is
I think he got on in that sacrifice,
0 for 1,
right?
and then he reached on the sacrifice. Hammers
Fastball
that one.
foul back.
Yeah, hammered that one foul. You know, when you look at our monitor, it looks like it's still pretty light out, but it's getting dark. Lighting is...
Well, they turned the lights on in the booth, so we're okay now. There's a breaking ball for a call strike 3.
Hummich goes down on a called strike. His second strikeout in 3 at-bats, Coach. That brings up Alex Binder. Binder is 2 for 3, having a good night.
Plus he drove in and ran a ground ball.
Drove in that first run in the 4th that gave North the lead back. So right now he's sitting with the game-winning hit.
There's that breaking ball for a strike.
Oh, the umpire didn't give up on that one.
I guess I'm not going to live that one down, am I?
You never know. You might have another chance to say it, too.
Well, he's throwing 5 pitches and all 5 for strikes anyhow. So
you got to like that. He's got that credo down. Best pitch is strike 1.
He used to pitch quite a bit when he was a kid. He hasn't pitched much the last couple of years, but next year they'll have to. Fastball waste just off the corner.
We were talking a little bit off the air about South High football. They should be pretty good next year. Your son probably be quarterback.
All 9 offensive players back. And, the biggest part, people always forget about the offensive line. And I think
you would say that.
That's true.
Shorty was all conference lineman at South.
But we do have, I think, four coming back. And there's a call, strike and a curveball. Wide receivers are back. Defense will be what's going to make or break us this year. We'll see.
Just so the fans understand this, you were all conference lineman when you were a senior in high school. Victor Adamovich, we mentioned him a little bit, was he lineman of the year?
Lineman of the year at guard, and Jack Pohl was a center. We had 3. We had an offense, but we had 27 guys up for the varsity, so we didn't mean to, but we rested on defense.
I didn't mind that.
You guys scored 37 against us, didn't you? 37-20, I think, or 34-20 it was.
Something like that. I know I had a long touchdown that game.
Yeah.
That ball fouled straight back by Schmitz.
You might add, you guys, or did West win the conference by a half game?
They won like 6-0-1. We were
tied
6-1.
them that first game of the year, didn't you?
We lost them on the last play of the game.
Well, they beat us in the last couple seconds at Lambeau.
Right, yeah, you guys had them on the ropes. And I think one other team had them on the ropes, and they won in the end.
You might want to mention who the quarterback was for West End.
Jerry Taggy was quarterback for Nebraska when they won the national championship back in '72, I believe that was. Got his picture on the cover of Sports Illustrated.
And, played how many years for the Packers? Oh, he
Not
had
too
a
many.
better career than we had, shall we say.
Yeah, he did something we never did. And there were actually, one of the years, there was him, this Mason from West, and Bob Kroll from Preble all played on the Packers. They were all seniors, our senior year.
I know Mason did, you're right.
And Kroll was too. He played 1 year as a special teams player. He was a real good lineman, played at Northern Michigan. Bouncer right back to the mound, and I'll tell you, Taylor had an excellent inning there. Now South has to get the bats working at the end of 5.5. North on top, 8-4.
For some folks, saving for the future is easy, but for you, it might take a little more effort. Saving for your future is your responsibility, and there's a lot to save for.
I never thought of that.
Like your child's education, perhaps uncovered medical expenses, or just to be sure you can live the way you want when you retire. The time is now to save for tomorrow. Save now or work forever. The choice is yours. Choose to save.
Gold medal swimmer Amanda Beard.
When I see the richness of life on Earth, I think how wonderful that we are both a part of nature and its guardian. I'm Amanda Beard, and it is very important to me that we continue to nurture this relationship.
When America's symbol, the bald eagle, was threatened with extinction, America responded with the Endangered Species Act. This law now protects more than 1,000 species, like grizzly bears and butterflies, whooping cranes and manatees. But as some species recover, others become imperiled.
Yeah.
Tony Gallhart leads off the bottom of the 6th against Lucas Wilsing.
We're just discussing some of the regional or opening round playoffs and so forth, even with the pitching staffs. North has a couple left-handed batters, and they're not real comfortable, I don't think, off Lucas. So it's a good matchup for North here. There's a fastball for a strike.
Yeah, Ben Hendricks is 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. Tony Gallhart is 0 for 1. He struck out once. Dominic Gonzalez 0 for 2. Those are all left-handed hitters for South. Normally, you like to have that balance in your lineup left and right, but if you get a really tough left-handed pitcher like Lucas is, it can be a detriment.
Yeah. There's a breaking ball that he had to fight off with 2 strikes. Too close to take.
Yeah, fought it off nicely. Keeps alive. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Tony Gallhart.
Ballpark has a lot nicer feel when you see greenery out there as opposed to when we start the season the first week of April.
Yeah, a lot of brown grass.
Yeah.
Well, all that rain certainly greened up everything.
Well, for an infielder, you can't ask for a nicer infield this time of year because it's going to take true hops.
Slow roller.
Did you check his swing on that one?
Yeah. Schmitz with another strong throw.
I think we know why they move Ryan over to third. He gets more plays down there, and he has a little stronger arm than Mitchell Gardner would.
Yeah. But they say your strongest arm should be at shortstop normally.
Well, they test you on that whole thing, but, in high school, how many plays do you get in the hole, basically?
Yeah, right. And most high school shortstops aren't going to make that play anyway.
True.
They're not going to throw them out unless you're somebody really special. That brings up Frank Raff. Raff is 0 for 2. Now his brother Zach is going to be playing with the A's this summer, I believe.
He pitched about every game, I think. His junior year, I think he set the conference record for wins. If he wasn't starting, we'd be down. He'd come in relief. And
then get a win that way.
Yeah. Jake Pfeiffer or Steve Zella would hit home run, and we'd win it. That was the year that they tied for the conference championship.
That was 2 years ago, I believe.
Right.
And South has had a good run with Craig Clace at the helm.
Yeah, they should be set. Their JVs, again, won quite a few this year, and Hoytink and Schwartz will be back leading them next year, so they'll have that 1-2 combination on the mound.
Now, Hendricks will be gone, Valdez will be gone, so they'll miss that.
Yeah. Yeah, they won't replace the offense.
1 hopper to Schmitz, and Raff is out. Well, Coach Wright knew something, putting Ryan Schmitz over to third. That brings up Dominic Gonzalez.
Once again, that big inning was when the bottom of the order got on base.
Well, Dominic is not a left-handed hitter.
No,
He's a left-handed thrower. That's what he is.
He's the that's the Ricky Henderson, where you throw lefty and bat righty.
Yeah. Well, actually, I was a natural right-handed hitter.
Were you really?
Yeah. But you don't want to compare me to Ricky Henderson.
You don't talk in the third person, do you?
I don't ask for a bigger contract right after I sign one either.
I think he's not playing independent ball this year.
There's a line drive.
There's a base hit to right, Neek, and a boy. I didn't see that one come off the bat very well.
Neither did the second baseman.
So here's freshman Jake Risto up for his first time as Halverson left the lineup on a.
Yeah, and that switch with the pitchers. Halverson was 1 for 2. He walked and scored. This will be Jacob Risto's first at bat. Now look at these stats. Risto actually has 2 hits and 9 at bats. I didn't realize he saw that much action on the varsity already.
I think he even played another game or two that wasn't conference game, so he's got a little experience.
Hitting .222, 2 for 9, no walks, 3 strikeouts. Has an RBI. A pitch just off the corner. Lucas wanted that one. 1 ball and 1 strike.
It's got to be over 100 pitches, wouldn't you guess?
Oh, God. Easy, I would think.
There's a high fastball.
Pop up.
Does he have
on
room?
The first base side. Reschke got over
the screen, huh?
Yeah, I think it stayed in play, but he just wasn't able to make the play.
Looks like some of the crowd is still pretty heavy yet. Nobody's left early.
Pretty good, yeah. Dale Wagner from the Cleveland Wildcats down there in the second row right in front of us.
They're going to have to put
Dale and I and you, we all graduated the same year. Dale went to North High.
Did he really?
Yeah. He's a good ball player. Could really hit. Swinging a foul.
Foul tip hung in there. Going to have to build some kind of little pavilion for little bleacher seats out there.
Yeah, really. Out in right field. Pitch is in the dirt. Good stop by Trilling. Gonzalez holds on at first. You get to many A's games, Greg?
6 to 10 a year or so.
That's a pretty good number.
Yeah. Sometime I live up the block, so we come around the third. There's a swing and a miss.
Risto's down on strikes. Another strikeout for Lucas Wilsing at the end of 6 complete. North on top, 8-4.
Wisconsin. Life's so good. Call 1-800-432-TRIP or visit travelwisconsin.com.
When you think of the reasons people end up in the ER, you probably wouldn't think of West Nile virus from mosquitoes, asthma attacks from cockroaches, hantavirus from rodents, or Lyme disease from ticks. Even bites from fire ants and other stinging insects send 500,000 people here every year. But you could make a difference in helping to protect your family from pest-related illnesses. Go to pestworld.org to learn how. Why wait until there's an emergency?
That with the lower end.
Just going through some of the stats here. Wilsing has 10 strikeouts, Greg, in the ball game. And Taylor coming out for his second inning of work. It's going to be the top of the order.
Well,
middle of the order.
Yeah, 3, 4, 5. South has any chance, they got to hold them down here.
Here you see Craig Walters. We mentioned last time, you were up in the booth, but Craig played in the state basketball tournament, and I mentioned he had 15 points. He actually had 13. And I think he said he had 9 rebounds, and he was like 5 for 6 shooting in the game. My only complaint, he didn't shoot enough. If you're 5 for 6, come on.
Well-
Why aren't you 6 for 11? Or, 6 for 10 or, get a bunch of shots.
He used to play with the teachers a lot on Friday afternoons.
Yeah, he still does. He's a good ball player. The best part about him, he passes the ball to me.
Well, I was going to say, he didn't pass to me, but that's years ago. Mike, I never met a 15-footer I didn't like Martin.
Yeah, really. I could usually make those.
You still play, you guys?
I haven't played as much this year for various reasons, but they still have a crew. I think Claire still comes out there, and he's like about a 30-year guy on that, and Ray Bale.
You guys are going to have to give him some kind of award or something to end the season here.
Yeah, really.
Pinch runner we got, or courtesy runner for Lucas.
Yeah, Josh Betcher.
Saw his name in a box score a couple times. Don't know much about him. He is.
He's a junior.
0 for 3 as far as stats.
Went to Holy Name. Or, pardon me.
Holy
Excuse
Family.
me. Holy Family. It's still Holy Name to me.
Well,
buddy.
they change a lot of these names of schools around here. You're right. I guess gives us away as age-wise, huh?
Yeah, really. Breaking ball just inside for a ball.
Peter and Taylor are old buddies. They played together for years and years. Always enjoying getting together with the Reschke family. Charlie, the dad, loves baseball, and great family, great ball players produced. This is the last one at North, so coach is going to miss those guys.
Yeah.
We'll see him at Legion this year. Just talked to Dad about that.
Charlie Sr.'s a regular at the ballpark.
Well, he's
and
going
his wife.
Yeah. Well, he'll be down here for Charlie for the A's games, and I think Nick's going to play with the A's this year, so they'll have 2 Reschkes on that team. And
I was going to say another guy who's probably seen maybe into the thousands of games is Stan Gare. Dave's dad, who's he's been to games as long as I can remember.
You're right. Well, Dave started playing, it must have been the late 60s. Right?
Actually...
Did he play before he went to service?
Oh, yeah, he played Legion ball for Sheboygan. Bouncing ball through and into right field. Hustling to throw in is Dominic Gonzalez. And North has set the table with a couple of base hits. You have runners on first and second. Ben Trilling up. Trilling is 3 for 3. Let's see, how would Harry say this? There's trouble in France, my chérie.
Yeah, he had some classics. Yeah. Here he had some dandies.
I should give you that CD. Chris Wright gave it to me. It's a eulogy and stories about Harry Carey.
Oh, okay.
When he died a couple years ago. It's funny. Holy cow.
Ben took a breaking ball low for ball 1.
Taylor looking to get out of the inning unscathed. That pitch on the outside corner for a strike. That was a dandy. That was a pitcher's pitch right there.
Outside corner and knees. There's a breaking ball
right
for a
there.
strike.
Oh, boy. I think Trilling would like to have that one back.
Now you either go up or breaking ball away, I guess. Here's where Taylor gets hurt sometimes by throwing too good of a pitch.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Nobody out.
That was a good pitch outside part of the plate. Fall back off the right side.
Trilling spoiled that one. Now he might want to come back inside with one. Give him a different look.
North gets a couple runs here. It's turn out the lights. The party's over.
Fritz Sank giving you that shot. Steve Reiner down the first base line operating that camera. He's out in the elements tonight. Scott Miloff in the truck. Spinning the dials for TV8 tonight. Live broadcast. They don't do many of those for high school baseball. Greg Schwartz, my partner, and I'm Mike Martin. There you see Josh Betcher out at second.
Ooh.
Whoa, nailed him. Square in the rear end.
You called coming inside.
Well, not that far, though. Is he going to rub it? Is he going to rub it? No. And that loads the bases.
Infield's got to come in. He can't give up any more, and here they are.
Everybody up even with the grass. Noel Deppy's up. Now, Deppy's is having a good night. He's 2 for 3. Has a home run.
And an extra base hit,
and
another
a double. And 3 RBIs. Coming into action tonight, Noel was hitting 261, so that's jumped up a bit. Has 14 hits in 49 at bats. Boy, that's almost 280.
Yeah, that would be. You're right. That would be 285 about somewhere in there. So he's moved up. That's a sophomore. It's hard to make an impact.
Yeah, it is. And the thing about Noel tonight, anyway, is that home run and the double. So he's hammering the ball. He does have 5. Well, now he's got 6 doubles on the season. Pitch.
Off the corner.
Math trying to steal a strike, but the ump would have nothing to do with that. Ball 1. That's another thing, a good catcher. You know, he can steal you a strike once in a while, the way they receive the pitch.
Yeah. That isn't. Oh, there's a base
Line
hit.
Drive over second base, out in the center field. That'll score 5-1.
Playing it safe. That's 4 RBIs for Noel.
Noel Deppy's with another hit.
Nobody throwing in the bullpen, so
this could be it.
I had a feeling he'd go tonight. He pitched into the 6th Friday in Preble, so.
Brad Schmitz is up. Schmitty 0 for 3, but he did score a run back in the 4th. Actually scored the go-ahead run for North after South had tied it at 4. Taylor bouncing ball. That one had eyes. Got through. Right again, playing station to station, holding the runner.
Dominic's a busy right fielder. I think all 4 base hits have been to right. And
yeah, they have. Well, that one by Deppy's was kind of to center, right center. Not sure who picked it up.
There's Coach Will Madsen saying, whatever.
Whatever, let's get it out.
13 hits there for North. Quite an attack they're mounting. This might be their best offensive onslaught of the year, huh?
Well, I don't know, but they certainly have a lot of base hits. Can't imagine them having too many games where they had more than 13.
Well, they got a team average going into the game.
Oh, there's a great shot.
263. 13 hits tonight. There were no double plays, and we recorded 18 outs, so approximately 13 for 31 at the plate tonight. That raises a team average.
Yeah, for sure. North came in hitting 263 as a team. That's not too shabby. Well, the one thing that South has done, although they're not doing it tonight, obviously, but they've played really good baseball and got a lot of wins. And you like that at the end of the year, Greg, because it leads you into the tournament on a high note. But then having a bummer like this, hopefully that doesn't affect you for tournament play.
Yeah, again, it's all about pitching matchups, and I don't know. South is fairly deep on the hill, but that doesn't always come into play in high school baseball until the middle of the year, and then when the tournament starts, it doesn't seem to matter that much. There's a nice breaking ball away.
Mitchell Gardner at the plate has got a no ball, 2-strike count.
Another guy, Mitchell and Taylor played, well, the whole team, I think, with North played with Taylor for years and still do.
One of the things they talk about a lot with basketball, too, is the kids knowing each other and having played against each other in summer leagues and things. And in baseball, it's a little different because they play together.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
So they all know one another. In most cases, I think they're friends. I know that's how it was when we were in high school. Pop up on the infield, but foul.
Somebody better get home. Okay, pitcher's home.
Adam Math making a nice catch.
Tough play for the catcher. Usually, if you can call him off and give him a break, do so, but that was kind of in no man's land.
Well, it was a long run for Ben Hendricks. It was actually a much shorter run for Adam, and you mentioned earlier he's very versatile and moves around well. Nate Hummich up.
Adam is going to play baseball in Cleveland someplace. Some college down there next year.
Oh, really? Well, all the best to him. Hummich 0 for 3. Reached on an error in the 4th after he sacrificed bunted. Hummich may be the fastest guy out on the field tonight for either team.
Him or Ben Hendricks. It'd be interesting, yeah.
Hummich hammers that one foul. Chris Wright with the air.
0-2 count.
Taylor Schwartz on the mound. Second inning work. Really?
Yeah. There's a good fastball off the corner. Good pitch, good waist pitch. Adams set up outside.
Fastball. Homage just got a piece of it and fouled it off, but pretty good pitch. Pretty good pitch location, I thought, Greg.
Yeah, he's been keeping fastballs away on him. As you said, Hummers. I know early in the season he would drag bunt a lot. The North people told me he was doing well. Then he ran into a streak where he was not making contact for a while, so they moved him down the lineup there. He just fought one off.
1 ball and 2 strikes. There's 1 out. The bases remain loaded for North. They've got 2 runs in. It's 10-4. And even if North were to get to that 10-run lead, South still gets their opportunity in the bottom half of the inning.
You got a vantage point in the bullpen? Is that, I can't see who's throwing down there, Marty. Looks like they got a righty and a lefty, or is it just Lucas staying warm?
I think it's, well, they got 2 guys throwing. Lucas looks like he's throwing to stay loose. And I think the other guy is Bass. He was warming up earlier. Brian Bass, number 13. Yep, that's him. How much steps back in?
Bases have been loaded. They've been station to station here. They've had the bases loaded, I think, forever, Marty, in this inning.
Oh, it's been a long time.
There's a
breaking ball
3.
right there. How much takes it? His second called strike. A strikeout, and he's got 3 Ks. Is that the silver sombrero? I think somebody for the Brewers got the platinum.
3 is just a hat trick, right? And 4 is a sombrero, right?
And somebody had 5, I think, for the Brewers, or somebody they played just the other night. I remember Euchre talking about it. That was a big breaker. Wow.
10-4. I think the ump gave him one on the inside corner and said, "It's getting late. Start swinging the bat."
Long ride home.
You're not going to double Mr. Binder up. He's got good wheels. There's a fastball a little bit late, fouled off to the right side. 0-2.
Stay in the park or to go out?
I like to watch the crowd's reaction. They're always rooting for a car to get nailed.
I always park far away so I don't have to worry.
I'm across the street in the softball area always, you're right. Just too many close calls over the years.
No balls and 2 strikes to Alex Binder. Binder's 2 for 4 on the night.
Adams moving way up, way away. Didn't quite
drives
get it
that one out to right. Gonzalez back, and he's got it for the out. And that ends the inning, but not before North comes up with 2 more. At the end of 6.5, it's 10-4 North.
Would you believe this chair was given a new look from an old sweater? It's easy. Just take an old sweater and staple gun to the bottom of a seat cushion, add a fresh coat of paint, screw it back on, and you've recycled an old sweater into something new. Here's something else you can recycle: old rechargeable batteries from cordless phones, power tools, and other cordless products. It's easy and it helps protect the environment.
Answer the call to recycle your old rechargeable batteries. Visit us online or call toll-free to learn more.
Let's play a game. Let's pretend you own an apartment building and I want to rent from you. I make a good salary, have a good credit history. Would you rent your place to me? How about now? Do you still like me? What if I have an accent or a disability? What if I'm a single parent? Would you steer me away? Would you close the door? Would you?
The Fair Housing Act protects your right to live where you want. If you think you've been discriminated against, call us.
They got, even because they're seated, they don't start until
June 2nd is their first
Friday,
first
right?
Game. Lucas Wilson coming out to throw the bottom of the 7th, and he'll be facing the top of the Red Wing order. Adam Math leading it off. Adam is 0 for 3. Just scorched one his last time, but it went right to Ryan Schmitz, who made the catch.
We talked about Adam closing up his stance. Again, because it's such a short season, sometimes you don't see results fast enough, you know. But that would show that he's hitting the ball well. There's a breaking ball he took for strike one. Another breaking ball down and in.
Well, Lucas is a totally different pitcher than he was back in that third inning when he walked 4 batters and gave up a couple hits. And I mentioned it before, but it's got to have a coach scratching his head. You send a guy out there and he's got it in him, but you're always thinking, well, when is the worst going to happen?
Well, and if you analyze it though, everything is around the strike zone is breaking balls. We don't know if his fastball, he hasn't gotten it over early in the game and he hasn't thrown it much.
1 ball and 2 strikes to Adam Math.
There's a breaking ball. Adam just got a piece of it. He may like that one out. And he did.
I hit it in a great spot about 20, not even about 15 feet from the batter's box.
That could be a stretch, you're right.
Has an infield hit. Taylor up. Taylor's 1 for 3. It's an RBI.
Been seeing nothing but breaking balls. Actually, he's a switch hitter in his at-bats. Usually he bats.
You ever chart what he's hitting
left
and right?
That's why I know it's pretty even. Usually he used to have more power already, but lately it's been lefty because, obviously you're going to bat.
What's his average, though? I mean, side.
Right offhand, I don't know, but I know last year for Legion it was about 400 left-handed.
Pitch is in there for strike 1.
Coach Clace, I don't know if he had a take sign on, but he does a lot of takes. Well, in this down by 6, you got to put a couple on.
Let him
now you'll see
take 1 strike
now
anyway.
You'll see breaking balls.
Pitch is outside for a ball. 1-1 is the count. We're in the bottom of the 7th. North on top, 10-4.
No steal situation here, but Adam Math is usually a very good base stealer. He's gotten a lot of them, but not in conference play this year.
Oh,
tied him up inside. He's going for the hat trick here. He needs a piece of it. And a lot more than that, down by 6 here.
Well, the way this stacks up, Greg, if everything stays as is, called strike 3, it'll be North and South tied for 2nd. Notre Dame wins the conference, and Manti will drop down into 3rd place.
Did both North, I know South split with, as a matter of fact, they beat everybody in the conference at least once. How did North do against Notre Dame, do you remember?
I don't, they did beat them.
Okay.
Wilsing, matter of fact, had a no-hitter against
yeah, that's right, that's right.
So, had 6 walks in the game, 8 strikeouts, but hey, no-hitter's a no-hitter.
Actually, I don't know if he ever had any more, but it was always surprising because he used to get these big strikeout totals,
Uh-huh.
Was this one a shortened one? Was it a run rule job?
No, it was
okay.
3-0 or 4-0. It was actually quite close. So he had to be on top of his game the whole while. Ben Hendricks up. Ben is 0 for 2. He walked and scored in the 3rd. That pitch is inside, makes it 3-0. Adam Math on at first base.
Well, I think you'll take a couple pitches here.
John Valdez is on deck for the Red Wings.
As his pitch count continues to mount.
Ooh, he wanted a strike on that, but umpire said it was inside.
Looked like he had a little pop on that one yet.
Could hear it up here.
Number 22, John Valdez.
I'm amazed at how good the lighting is because I can remember doing a game here years ago and you couldn't hardly see anything. Anything behind the runner was just blackness. Couldn't tell anything. And lighting is better. I'll tell you the other thing is our cameras that we got new about 2 or 3 years ago are just it's a whole different ball game, and you can see it in your picture. Drive out the deep right, not catching it is Hummich. He has to play it on a hop. Valdez made a big turn at first. He's got to run back and made it in time. So John Valdez with a base hit, and now South has the bases loaded with only 1 out. And Anthony Hoytink up. Tony doubled in, cleared the bases back in the 3rd, pardon me, with a double. He'll want to do that again. Chris Wright trotting in. I wasn't watching the North bullpen. They did have Bass warming up while North was batting.
I know they had to play it safe, and John, I think, took it for granted he might be able to make 2, but he forgot there was a runner ahead of him that had to wait to see if it dropped or not.
And there was a runner ahead of him, too.
Right.
You had to be watching him, too.
And actually, the 2 base runners on 2nd and 3rd are South's best base runners, so
Yeah, they did the right thing. No sense in taking a chance when you're down 6. Chris Wright leaving things as is. Wilsing stays on the mound. Anthony Hoytink, 2 for 3 on the night with 3 RBIs, has a double.
Number 28, Tony Hoyting.
Now, when he was at Jefferson, it was always Anthony.
Okay.
And I think a couple of the first games that he played at South for football, we call him Anthony. Now during baseball, it's Tony.
Well, they just know him as Squanto as far as his teammates are concerned.
550 pounds squat. Is that what Chris
I think
said?
5 something, yeah. Over 550. And he's got a senior year to go.
Yeah, really. Why don't you work with him a little bit in the weight room, Chris? Is he out of here now? 2 balls and no strikes.
There's a ball outside.
Oh, Wilsing pitching himself into a big jam, and South hitting him into a jam. They've got 2 hits in this inning, along with a walk to load the bases. That pitch in there for a strike.
It looked like it had a little cut movement to it, didn't it? I don't think it would have been a breaking ball, but it looks like it moves that way.
That pitch is also in there for a strike. Borderline.
Yeah, but I think Coach Clay is the right thing. You got to take a couple in that situation.
Full count. Wilsing trying to work himself back from a 3-0 count. Anthony Hoytink trying to deliver a big base hit again.
There's a ball. He overthrew it. Trying to reach back for a little extra. He overthrew that one.
Yeah, for
Bounced
sure.
it up there. Here comes Chris for his second visit.
It's actually his 3rd visit. I think he had one earlier in the game.
Okay.
This will be a second in the inning. Now, in high school baseball, you get 3 visits. You can take them all in one inning and not have to change your pitcher. But when you make that 4th visit, now you're forced into it. You have to make a change.
Well, so here you got Peter Reschke's going to 3rd. And
I think
Mitchell Gardner's going to 2nd.
Schmitz will move to
short.
And Bass is coming in to pitch.
And Wilson will go to 1st. Okay. So this is like when the Major League announcers are complaining during spring training when they have to make all those changes,
Yeah,
right?
really. Do a high school game.
Yeah, really.
So Lucas goes 6 1/3. His line is not complete because he's got left runners on base. Gave up 6 hits. Strikeout total is going to be pretty healthy. Walk 6.
I would say he probably has about 13 Ks somewhere in there.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
11, okay.
Just to preface what you mentioned about the strikeouts, in the first he had 2, in the second he had 2, in the third he had 2, in the fourth he had 2. So that's 8. And he had 1 in the 5th, 1 in the 6th, and had 1 in the 7th. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11.
You know, the game basically seems out of reach, but you're hitting an error and a bloop away from getting back into it.
Well, the tying run is
in the hole.
Yeah, in the dugout yet. So that if you're north, you like that part of it.
Oh, actually on deck, huh? Yeah.
4. Yeah, on deck. My bad. Tying run is on deck. Brian Bass.
Does he have any saves or those mop-up innings? Do we know here?
Right here, we got something.
Okay.
Bass has actually appeared in 9 games. Got a 1-0 record. It does have 2 saves.
2 saves, okay.
Now, Brian came in that Southwest game that North lost last week and pitched a perfect inning of relief. Tony Gallhard in. This is good for Tony. Now he gets to see a right-hander.
Yeah, one thing you don't do in high school too much is play percentages.
Right, yeah. You stick the guy in there and expect him to do the job.
Comes in with a fastball a little bit up and away. Infield's back all over the place. Nobody's holding anybody on.
No, all I want to do is record an out if you're North. Pitch is inside for ball 2. And Chris Wright has got to be pulling his hair out. Just throw a strike in there.
Leave us not forget they're student athletes. They'll have homework yet tomorrow.
Yeah, right. They'll all run right home and sit at their table in their room and work on their math.
Close.
Of course, you give all your kids homework, right? 6th graders?
Not like we used to.
Would they do it anyway?
Well, that's why we don't do it like we used to.
Or do you give them the homework and then give them half an hour during class to do it?
Actually, they're going to block scheduling in the middle school, and that's one of the reasons for it is to help with that concept. There's a call strike.
Pitch right down the middle for a strike.
Almost got to take another one here, Coach.
Oh yeah, 3-1 is the count. 1 out. South has the bases loaded. They trail at 10-5, but they're not out of the woods yet.
See a line drive, get off the bases. There's ball 4.
Another walk forces in a run. And Craig Clace hoping for that conference championship.
That's it for Brian Bass. Not showing a lot of confidence.
Schmitz will go to the mound, I'm sure.
I don't think he had any warm-ups, but I would guess Schmitz would go in. You're right. Means that they have to make some more switches out here. Now, can Leonhardt go back in it for defense? Can you?
Let's see.
Although he may.
He's a starter.
He was out now.
He's
still out there. Okay.
He should be able to come back into the game.
He is, so okay.
That would put Gardner back to short, Leonhardt to second. What happened was Bass actually would have came into Leonhardt's spot because of the movement around, and then you just take Bass out, and Leonhardt is a starter, so he comes back in the ball game. Well, Ryan Schmitz is pretty good at throwing strikes. Greg, he's thrown.
Each year he's played, he's become more of a pitcher. I know he does a lot of camps in the wintertime up at Green Bay.
Just under
concentrate on pitching.
Yeah, just a touch under 42 innings, 41 2/3.
That's quite a bit for a high school season.
Yeah, and he's got 18 walks, so that's not too bad. 38 strikeouts. But in that game last week, he had trouble finding a plate. Let's see if I can find the
No, I know
that was on last time.
Besides the fastball and curveball, I know he throws a splitter for a changeup, more or less. I don't know what kind of movement it has. It's hard for a kid to throw a split finger, but he does feature one. And he faces the...
He only had 2 walks in that game. He went 6 innings. Did give up 9 hits in those 6 innings. He didn't have his best stuff that night. I know that. He's a better pitcher than what he showed.
Well, we got the bottom of the order here, Frankie, and then Dominic, or 7, 8, 9 yet, huh?
So
one out.
Brian Bass only faced 1 batter.
Coach didn't like the fact he wasn't close on any pitch, I guess.
That pitch rides up high and just missed. Hitting Frank.
No, I think Ryan usually features around 80, 81, 82.
Raff 0 for 3. Pitch in the dirt. This is where he had problems the other day.
Right now he's rushing himself. He should step off the mound and take it easy a little bit. Here Frank steps out and
makes him take the time.
Yeah. There's one right over the middle of the plate. Good fastball.
2 balls and 1 strike. There's 1 out. South has the bases loaded. They're down 10-6, but the tying run is at the plate. Raff with a dribbler to short.
Double play ball. Out
at second. Relay not in time. It gets
away.
by. Another run will score. Hoytink comes around. So 2 runs come in. Valdez and Hoytink. Raff reaches on a fielder's choice. And out at second was Gallhardt.
And he went down after Leonhardt and made Leonhardt jump, and he threw the ball anyhow and ended up throwing it away. I thought it was a made-to-order double play when it left his bat.
A little bit slow on the turn at second.
Yeah.
Raff is coming out. Coming in to run is Kabai. Kabai's not the important runner, or run I should say. It's Dominic Gonzalez. Dominic represents the tying run.
So if you're an outfielder in this case, you play deep to cut off the extra base hit.
On deck is Jacob Ristow. Ristow struck out. Now that runner at first is still the responsibility of Bass. Because the guy, right? Am I reading that right?
Let me think here.
Bass walked Gallhard. He was forced at second, which allowed Raff to reach.
It's just a force, so it's okay. It's still Schmitz's guy.
Oh, it is Schmitz's guy. Okay. All right.
So the line is closed, in other words, on
for Bass
and Wilson. Yeah.
Okay.
I think one of those runs is charged to Bass and the rest to Lucas Wilson.
I think they all are to Lucas because Bass only walked one guy and his guy was erased on the force.
Oh, okay, that's right. It was his guy. You're right.
There's a swing and a miss by Dominic. Schmitz coming in, trying to shut the door for the Raiders.
There's a good fastball. Had some pop to it.
Here it up here. 1-1 is the count. South trying to battle back. They trail it 10-8.
No, I would stay hard because I know Dominic. I told you earlier in the game he has a long swing. He's had a good year.
Has trouble catching up with the good fastball.
Right, so I wouldn't be cute and throw something off speed. Speed is bad up.
Well, that time Trilling looked to the dugout. I don't know if he was getting a pitch sign or not.
There's a fastball.
Time was called.
Brian is a smart baseball player, so I'm sure he knows that. Sometimes, these kids know their other players better than the coaches do.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, he played with them more.
Right.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Swing and a miss. You called it, Greg. Stayed with the hard stuff and got Dominic on strikes. And that's the ball game. North and South tie for second place in the conference. North the winner tonight, 10-8. We're going to do our wrap-up right now, Greg. Give us your impressions of the game tonight and any implications it might have for tournament action, which is coming up.
Awful lot of pitches thrown on both sides of the plate, on both sides of the mound, I should say. North jumped off the early 4-0 lead. South came back, but tied it for a brief time. And what hurt was when the bottom of the order for North in the top of the fourth started off with a walk and a couple of 2 walks. Sacrifice that went awry. An error? Okay,
and yeah.
An error, walk, a sacrifice, and an error lowered the bases up for the top of the order. And that's when they scored a couple runs. Only 2, actually, they were lucky to get out of it at that time. But that was just about it. Lucas, when he had to, could get his Ks in there. And
finished off with 11 strikeouts, actually, for the night. South had 13 strikeouts. 12 strikeouts. Anthony Hoytink, not what he was in a couple of starts previous to tonight.
Overall, I think you'll see both 2 different teams when the playoffs start because neither one of these 2 teams, the way they played tonight, wouldn't be very successful. So I think you'll see a step up in the pitching by both sides when the tournament comes around next week.
Now, we mentioned earlier that Hartford comes into the tournament about a 500 team. South a little better than that. South getting the higher seed, but it still should be a pretty nice game. That one is going to be next Tuesday, May 30th. That'll not be a TV game. This was our final TV game of the year, but it will be here at 4:30 on Tuesday, May 30th, South against Hartford.
I might add they're trying to get a change of time just because some Catholics are getting confirmed that night.
Ooh, that's right.
So they're looking to see if they can't move it up to a 4 or even earlier start because I guess confirmation starts about 7 o'clock or so.
Good point, Greg. So you're going to want to check the paper on that, fans. That's going to do it for our broadcast tonight. Thanks a lot for watching. It's been great doing high school baseball. I really enjoy it. For the crew and my partner, Greg Schwartz, I'm Mike Martin saying so long, everybody. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you down the road.